About the MLB and NBA and Pro Bowl weekend. I'm done complaining about those. I think those leagues either need to make a serious effort to hit their domestic audience, or they just need to go away with them completely. And maybe have a weekend where everyone just comes and hangs out together. Just make it a convention for NBA players and media to attend. Sling Old Spice all over the country. I think I'm done.
Ruffles is what they were pushing over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. They have bridges. I don't know if you guys know this.
Watching these forced games where nobody really cares. Well, if you don't care, why do I care? So I'm done complaining about it. I'm done caring about it.
Now, here are the guys.
Good morning and happy Wednesday to those who celebrate Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And boy, did we have a late night last night. If you were up watching some Mountain West Conference action, it did, in fact, deliver. Unfortunately, a loss in the end, but definitely excitement along the way. Aztecs down by Utah State. We'll get into that in a little bit and what it means for the Aztec season, because this one did have some implications on where they sit at in terms of the Mountain West Conference. But before we get into any of that, we have, I don't know if I want to call it an update, but we have some interesting news to discuss in terms of quotes at a spring training with the Padres, AJ Preller specifically speaking on the state of the team. And I don't love it. I don't think either of us, TD, or you, Fletch, I don't think we read what AJ Preller had to say and felt the warm and fuzzies around the start of this season. It kind of feels like AJ Preller has his hands taped behind his back. Now, I use the word tape. I don't say tied because I'm not sure how strong the binding is, but it does feel like he wants to spend. He's a general manager. It's not his money. It's the team's money. He wants to spend. He wants to buy. He wants to go out and resolve some of the issues that this roster has for the Padres, but he can't.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how this is even going to work. I mean, we said it yesterday. We're talking about it in the past couple of weeks. They're obviously going to make some moves. They obviously have to add some pieces to this team if they're going to make it through the season. Yesterday, there's some news, some interviews that come out with AJ Preller where he says, yeah, look, we're going to see what we got working down in the minors, which, I mean, okay, I get it, but there's just not a lot there. So it's clear, at least to me, that they're not looking to spend money, like you just said. So how do you make it through the season? How do you limp along and make it work?
Especially when you talk about the health of how this team finished last year. Manny Machado injured, Yu Darvish injured, Joe Musgrove injured. These are all three of those guys. Now, I'm less worried about Manny than the other two, but all three of them you are relying on to have full productive seasons this year. I look at this starting rotation and I just see holes all over the place. And maybe we're overreacting, right? Maybe the guys in the farm system have been developing and they're going to come out and have great years. But what have I seen to prove that to me? Absolutely nothing. Now, Rich, you and I had a crazy debate. This is months ago at this point when the Padres moved on from Juan Soto. And I thought that there was no way imaginable that the Padres would not spend the money that they are saving from not having Juan Soto on this team to better this roster. Well, to this point, they've spent like 14 mil of it and they saved like 35 mil. And I've never been more angry to be wrong, and I'm sure you've never been more angry to be right in this situation.
It wasn't about being right or wrong. It was trying to point out to you that Peter Seidler was unique and special, and that this is what business usually looks like in sport. It's not anybody's fault for not understanding, but that's what I was trying to give you was an education in what this looks like. I had an up close education when I was playing. Owners don't like to spend their money. That's generally how this goes. And so when you have an opportunity to shore up some gaps in payroll, because and this is sounding like ruthlessly pragmatic, but I'm sure there were a lot of people in that front office, a part of that ownership group, partners with Peter Seidler, who loved Peter, hated the way he spent on this team. And so when Peter left, all of us, he also, what was extinguished, not only his zest for life and the wonderful things he did for this city, not only from the standpoint of like payroll with the Padres, but philanthropy and just being a great guy. I mean, countless stories about how he had an impact on this community. It was also the fact that these partners, these people who might have been saying to Peter, hey, I don't think this contract's a good idea. Like, what is the long play here, Peter? Or, geez, do you think we're onboarding a little too much risk with the amount of money we're spending here, Peter? Or, hey, Peter, like, the ballpark needs a little maintenance and we're starting that construction in Gallagher Square and we're doing this, we're doing that. Do you really think this is a time to sign this guy? And he was like, yeah. If you build it, they will come. We're looking to win championships in 2020. That's what I promised this fan base. But then after his passing, now the business end of the stick is coming out and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I think what's really ticks you off is when the process of Juan Soto leaving town was starting, right? I kind of got the feel, and I don't think anyone ever said this explicitly from the organization, but that the reason you move on from a Juan Soto isn't necessarily to get 30 million off the books or 33 million off the books, whatever he would have gotten in arbitration. The reason is to onboard $33 million worth of talent from other places to make sure that this team is whole going into the season. And this team needs to be made whole going into the season, but they're not onboarding that $33 million. And it's just so rough watching this team and wanting them to succeed, wanting to have those moments that we had down at the gas lamp, down at Fair Play during that run into the NLCS. Like, I want to have those again, and it just doesn't feel like we're going to get there unless there's some spending involved. And as of right now, man, it's just you're relying on minor leaguers to come up and play pivotal roles in this organization this season. And I don't know where that leads for the Padres, because in my experience watching baseball, it's not always the best thing unless your name is the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, what really ticks me off, and it's hard to wrap your head around, but I guess it's only feasible when you're a Padre fan, is when you look at this team and you go, holy smokes, man, this thing is stacked with superstars. It's stacked with superstars. If this team was in any other city, every other city would be celebrating that this team just moved in. And we're here as Padre fans going, yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work, because we saw what it did last season with more superstars on the team. So now we're sitting here crossing our fingers going, well, I hope the people in charge know what they're doing. I hope that some of these minor league ball players can step up and make this work. And maybe it will. Maybe it's just the right pieces come into place and everything clicks and everybody's happy. I still go back and lean on the fact that there has to be some team building and culture in the locker room to make this thing work. It doesn't matter how many superstars you put on the team. You can't have a bad apple in the bunch, because you're going to spoil the whole damn thing.
Well, yes. From a culture standpoint, it depends on how important that apple is. Like, if that's the best apple, if that's the shiniest example of what, your orchard can yield, then yeah, you've got a problem.
Well, because if it's an apple that you don't care about too much, you can cut it out.
Yeah. Well, so, and by the way, if you invest into anything, whether we're talking about an apple farm or we're talking about like a farm system for the Padres, if you put in the time, you put in the money, you'll probably have better yields. The situation here is, yeah, you're right, TD. Like, I think in a lot of cities, people would be like, it's a pinch me moment if my team had a couple of guys worth $1 billion hanging around their lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is what it was building towards or crescendoing towards after 2022 and what has happened following 2023 are two completely different stories. I don't think there's a single Padres fan who is sulking right now who I would say, hey, what do you've got to cry about? The Padres going to be just fine, because they're not. On paper right now. They're not.
I agree.
Like, you look at this. You look at this team and they're incomplete. Like, they're going to be counting on guys like Jackson Merrill and Graham Pauley from their farm system to come up and play significant innings for the Padres at their given positions. I don't know if they're ready. Now, they could be. And much like the Dodgers or other teams that have developed stars out of their farm system, maybe the Padres have it all figured out. But in years past, there have been a lot of opportunities for young guys to play coming out of the Padres farm system, and it hasn't worked out. And then they got shipped out of here and they got developed elsewhere, and they had more success elsewhere. And part of that is because it's been a revolving door of managers and coaches and voices in their ears, I think. I mean, nobody can really pinpoint exactly the reason why it hasn't happened for the Padres, but I think that has something to do with it. Also, going back to that culture piece. So, look, we're referencing this compilation of quotes that was put together by AJ Cassavell yesterday on the Padres website. Actually, he's a writer for MLB.com. He's the beat writer for the Padres, and the headline is for the Padres. It's "Hurry up and what?" And it's interesting because it really is a little bit of a view, a vista into how discombobulated the roster is right now.
And you're not only relying on the guys you mentioned, Rich, the young guys, but you're also relying on a guy like Michael King, who doesn't have a ton of major league starting experience. He's been more out of the bullpen in his career. You're going to rely on him to throw serious starting innings for you.
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, text line, because I may have missed something. But as far as I know, the two bona fide starters you have on this roster that have big league experience and have been there, done that, are Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. And both of them finished last year not healthy. Like, and I love those guys, I really do. But do I have a ton of faith that they're going to be able to finish this year healthy? Not really. Yu Darvish is old. Joe Musgrove, now we have a little bit of a history on him. I think they'll both be fine, but I don't know that. Now, Joe Musgrove was on with Darren Smith yesterday. Not sure if you guys caught that interview, but I'll find the audio where he was talking about the culture piece of it, TD, that you were mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
And he like straight up said that, yeah, last year we had issues in the clubhouse and things weren't going well. So far this year, that problem has turned around. It's a much better vibe. It's a much more motivated team. Also, remember last year during this time of year, everyone was, or a lot of people were at the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. So they didn't really get that time in spring training to meld.
Yeah, but so were other teams.
I know it's not, but I think that's helping this year to some sort of cohesion in spring training.
It's clear Bob Melvin was the problem. He was awful.
Yeah, and he's gone.
yeah. Like this worked perfectly. We're all sheep, and we understand that Bob Melvin was the whole problem, and they cut like a cancer. They cut him out and they shipped him up to the Bay Area.
Well, between him and Soto, those were the two problems.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And guess what? Good riddance.
Now, I am curious what Kevin Acee has to say, because Eric Katsenda, the guy who's kind of stepping into Peter's role this year, he spoke for the first time, and no one really ever knew spoke for the first time publicly about the Padres.
And he has the most beautiful voice in the land.
But I'm curious what Kevin thinks about him, because obviously Kevin and Peter were very close, and I think Kevin had the last interview with Peter. Like, there's a lot of little breadcrumbs here that we can get from Kevin, hopefully, about what Eric Katsenda's view for the Padres is, because as of right now, the view is we're not spending any money.
Well, yeah, look, I think what he said, which is the quotes are available. Look, he was like, there's flexibility. This is directly from Katsenda. We don't want to get into specific payroll numbers, as you guys know, but we're working every day on different enhancements to the roster, as well as trades, free agent stuff. The roster is still in progress. Another quote from we went into the year with a view of assembling talent and balance for the team. Payroll is an output of that. As general manager AJ Preller has described, we're not necessarily done. It's been kind of an odd free agent market evolution this year. We're marching toward building a talent pool that we think can win. Okay, so look, essentially you said a lot of words, and none of them have any stickiness. Like, all of those words can mean, yeah, they may spend in the future, or they may not. Or, yeah, they may add a free agent as things start to settle and shake out, or they may not. Yeah, they may trade for a player at some point this offseason, or they may not. There's nothing. He's stuck to no plan.
Right.
And so he can't be quoted as saying, well, you said in the offseason that you guys were going to hit this payroll number, and why haven't you hit it yet?
Yeah.
Well, you said you were going to get a splashy free agent signing, and why haven't you done that yet? Well, you said trade. No. He said none of those things. And so it's very evasive language, just like you would assume.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't expect anything else. To me, what I got out of this was, look, we'll add pieces as the season goes along if we can afford them. So if there are pieces available that are cheap that would better the team, we will pick them up. But guess what? We're going to start the season just like this.
And they got Jerks and Profar.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do. That is,
he's back in a Padres uniform.
So if
it's an enthusiastic yes. Yeah, we did.
So here is the little warm and fuzzies that I can give you, Rich, that you're pleading for. The first spring training games tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I'm fired up.
I hope nobody gets hurt.
Yep.
Honestly, the only thing I don't really care about spring training. The only thing I hope for is everybody emerges from spring training healthy. Same with the WBC last year. I know there's a lot of national pride and it means a lot to, I shouldn't say all the players, but many players. I think some guys played themselves into a fever pitch during the WBC, the World Baseball Classic last year. But for the most part, the only thing I was hoping for is all these guys stayed healthy. And for the most part, the Padres did. The problem was they came out disjointed to start the season, and then they never became jointed, if there is such a way to describe it.
Right.
And you had the Tatis suspension to start the year last year. There was just weirdness. I'm hoping this year's a little more cohesive of a unit, and that's kind of what Musgrove was talking about yesterday with D. Smith. Now, we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, look, Musgrove, the one thing you know that Java Joe isn't going to do is hop on the D. Smith show in February and go, you know what? We've got major problems to resolve before we all hop on a flight to Seoul, South Korea. I mean, it is February 20th. We are within striking distance of this 2-game series, and I'm running around like my hair's on fire trying to get these guys.
I was just glad he acknowledged the problems from last year, and he was very open and honest about them.
Well, yeah, everybody has to be. Look, Fletch, legitimately no team has ever had the height of expectations analytically. Like, this is proven by like numbers on a spreadsheet and then had worse results. It's a historic situation that occurred yesterday. Also,
We got that going for us.
also there were articles, not one. It wasn't one guy. It was every single sourced reporter who's around the Padres had a breaking story about the dissolution of power within the organization and the discord happening between the manager and the front office. And so if Joe Musgrove came on the Darren Smith show and didn't address it, it would be weird as hell.
Yeah. And I think the guy who wrote the first one of those stories, Kevin Acey, was he the guy who broke that first?
It was Kevin Acey. I forget who came out first, but it was
They were
Kevin
back to
Acey
back.
or Dennis Lynn, one of the two.
Well, we got Kevin Acey joining us in next hour, so we can ask him these questions if things seem smoothed out. He's out there hanging out with them, so we'll find out real soon.
Yeah. Well, what I got for you is a quick update on the unfortunate shooting that took place in Kansas City while they were celebrating their Super Bowl. The Missouri prosecutors said yesterday that 2 adults have been charged with murder in last week's mass shooting that killed 1 person, injuring 22 at the end of the parade. Lindell Mays of Raytown, Missouri, and Dominic Miller of Kansas City, Missouri, both charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action and unlawful use of weapon. If they are guilty, may they rot in prison. Moving on, quick update from Dodgers spring training. They will be the Padres' first opponents this season. Shohei Ohtani remains on track to be their designated hitter. Also, it looks like Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow are currently on track to be the 2 starters at the Seoul series against the Padres. Again, we were just talking about it. March 20th and March 21st. That's how the Padres start their season. And last night, the Aztecs lost an important game in the Mountain West Conference seedings. Utah State earned a 68-63 victory over San Diego State Aztecs men's basketball team in Logan, Utah. The result makes the Aggies the sole leaders of the Mountain West. Aztecs' next opponent, Fresno State, Saturday, coming up on the road against the Bulldogs. And we'll stop off there to talk about this briefly. Look, you know, the Aztecs, it's kind of been a weird up and down season. This is a very talented team. They have arguably the best player in the country on their team. They've just got to find a way to win on the road. And that's really the end of my statement. They've got to find a way to win consistently on the road, because guess what? Tournament games, when you get to March, they're on the road.
Every one of them.
So John pointed this out last night, and I thought it was a good point. I agree with you. Like, the fact that they haven't won one of these tough road games is a little worrying to me. But the fact of the matter is, road games in the NCAA tournament, road games in the Mountain West tournament are road games for both teams. And San Diego State's been very good in neutral site games. Now, last night's game, Utah State had everything going for them going into that game. Talk about who needed that one a little bit more in terms of a March Madness resume, who needed that one more with that crowd at home, the revenge game factor of it, everything going in. That I kind of had the conversation with John beforehand. I'm like, man, San Diego State's going to have to play perfect to win this game. And for a large portion of that game, I thought San Diego State played really well. But the last 3 minutes of that game, Utah State was the ones that showed up. And maybe that's elevation. Maybe that's just missing a couple shots. From what I saw, it was 50-50 balls all going one direction. And when 50-50 balls become more like 70-30 balls, that means one team's trying a little bit harder. And I think that's what happened last night.
Yeah, and Paris weighing in on the stream here on YouTube says, happy hump day. Every time the Aztecs crack the top 25, they lose. Hope it's just building character for the tournament. But, man, it seems that way, right? Every time they gain a little ground here, they get knocked back down.
In fact, there's a number to it. I think they're like 2-6 this season once they get ranked the following game.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I think there's plenty of time to figure this out. You're running out of time, but there's still plenty of time to figure this out. And there are certain teams that really come together late. There were issues last season. It wasn't a perfect season. If for those who remember, down the stretch of the regular season, there were some bumps in the road, but the Aztecs pulled it together for the conference tournament. And then obviously they made it all the way to the national championship game. So don't judge them early, or really don't even judge them in the middle, judge them late. And that's what I've been doing, kind of reserving judgment to see if there's another rabbit hiding up the sleeve with Brian Dutcher.
And to that point, Richie, they are set up better this year at this point than they were a year ago at this point for March Madness. Right now, ESPN still, even after last night, has them as a 4 seed heading into the tournament with 2 teams below them in that 4 seed mark. They did not move at all in KenPom yesterday. They stayed right at 18. Mm-hmm. This was not a bad loss. This is a quad 1 loss. Utah State's been a very good team all season long. And so when you look at this widely, it doesn't really impact the Aztecs outside of hanging that banner for a Mountain West regular season championship, which is crucially important. That's number 1 on the checklist every single year for San Diego State. And that really sucks because now you're relying on Utah State to drop a game when they have one of the easier schedules in the last 4 remaining games for the Mountain West Conference. The one team that likely will be the one to trip them up, if anyone, would be New Mexico. And Utah State gets them at home in Logan, Utah, where they've been damn near perfect all year long, much like San Diego State has been perfect at Viejas Arena.
Yeah, but to Rich's point, where this is a bad loss is you got to start winning some of these on the road.
They only got 2 road games left.
You're going to have to win them because it starts getting your head. You're stuck. If we leave home, we can't win. So you got to change that mindset.
Now, they did win at Gonzaga this year. Like, we could be honest.
That's true.
That was awesome. I mean, the point he's making is well heard here. As an athlete, it really is truly recency bias. Like, you think about your last session in the Jam Center, you think about your last game, like you live your life kind of minute to minute, practice, game to game, and you try to have a short memory, but it's difficult. The team they were when they faced Gonzaga, they are nothing like that team now, and they'll be a completely different team in the tournament. Now, obviously, all of our hopes are come March, they're a better team. Mm-hmm. You don't know, nothing's guaranteed, but I agree. I think before the end of the regular season, they need to have some prove it moments on the road where they do something special and come together as a team and they say, all right, yeah, I mean, whatever. We're a good enough team to beat anybody on the road. They just got to prove it to themselves. And I hope they do soon, because last year was such a special year as we were getting ready for the Mountain West Conference tournament in Vegas, as we were getting ready for the tournament. I think the expectations were lower, so it was more of a happy surprise, but wouldn't it be cool if they got back to the Sweet 16? Wouldn't it be cool if they got back to the Elite 8? Wouldn't it be cool if they were a Final Four team again?
That's the other conversation I was having yesterday, where it's like, if this team makes it to the Sweet 16, and that's a big if, it's hard to do in college basketball, but that is going to be one of the better 2-year runs in like March Madness history.
Right.
If this team makes it just to the Sweet 16.
Man, that's a lot of eyeballs on SDSU. That's a good thing.
That's huge.
It's a really good thing.
I just hope
for a group of 5 or a non-power league team, which San Diego State is a mid-major.
Just hope wherever it ends up, man, they land on their feet.
You could argue. You ever look back on a breakup and just cringe? We'll get to that on the other side, but I'm glad you brought up feet, because at the Good Feet store, man, do they get you right. I wear these.
And we love talking about feet.
You're damn right. And we spend the majority of our time on this radio program talking about feet. Specifically mine, which sounds, I don't know if that's the perfect target there. It kind of look like troll feet. Well, actually, that was the deal. I went to the Good Feet store for the first time. You guys were there. I took off my shoe, and it sounded like a boat coming into port. It was like, but the people there were very nice. They never commented. In fact, they complimented.
They're trained to do that.
Yeah, that is they have good training there. I walked around in these arch supports for the first time at the Good Feet store, and it was the first time I realized I had arches to support. It was pretty amazing. And then talking to the people there, I was like, so why do you wear arch supports? Like, I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. And they said, well, do you have any lower body joint pain? I go, yeah. And they're like, well, specifically where? I'm like, in my knee, my back, my hip really bothers me. They're like, well, this could fix that. And they weren't lying. I walked out of the Good Feet store, and all I had to do is slide these arch supports into my shoes every morning or leave them in the shoes that I like to wear on a daily basis and just walk around on them. That's the extent of my work. And then these arch supports, they put you in the proper posture. They put your knees in the right alignment. They help your lower back have less of the stress that you are typically placing on it throughout the day. And the results are, I'm basically pain-free in 2024. It's pretty amazing. Those were the results for me. I can't wait to hear about the results for you. If you're interested in having less pain in 2024, get in touch with the Good Feet store. They have 200 plus locations around the U.S. and overseas. They're 30 years of experience, 30 plus years of experience. Check them out at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com.
Are we witnessing another awkward, cringy, bad breakup? We'll explain coming up next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Aztecs continue to struggle on the road. They drop a game to Utah State 68-63 in Logan. Utah State now has the inside track to a Mountain West regular season championship. There's 4 games left to go in the Mountain West. Next up for the Aztecs, another road trip up to Fresno State to take on the Bulldogs Saturday at 7. Yours truly actually tagging along for that one. Yesterday, College Football Playoff Board of Managers unanimously approving to set the 12-team field as the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and then the 7 other highest-ranked teams. Padres news per our Padres insider Kevin Acey, who's joining the show at 7:30. Yu Darvish going to make his first spring training start next week. Michael King, he's going to throw a live BP instead of pitching in tomorrow's first spring training game for the Padres. Now during Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $180 on select chairs, desk chairs, computer chairs, even gaming chairs. In-store only. Offer ends 3/2. See associates for detail. Stop by Staples today and grab a seat.
Yeah, Big Rich, TD and Flesh, San Diego Sports 760, and we have a whole bunch of prizes we're going to be giving out today, including Lainey Wilson tickets. That's right, we have a pair to go see her at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 23rd. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win. Also, we have a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival coming up on March 16th. Tradition returns as the authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of San Diego's historic Gaslamp Quarter District. Heading back to its roots, the 28th annual Shamrock provides a full lineup of the nation's top Irish and Celtic rock bands, iconic tribute performances, and Irish dancers galore. Tickets and info at sandiegoshamrock.com. Just keep listening for your chance to win. Back to you, Rich.
Coming up, we're going to get into this Travis Kelce sideline blow up with Andy Reid and why that may stay buried forever. Also, is he eyeing Hollywood? We'll tell you. Anyways, you ever have a situation?
I love royalty-free music, by
it's
the way.
best.
I mean, it's real good.
We are really grooving right now. Listen to this.
It's like
Listen
an
to this.
elevator
As
on
we,
drugs.
we take you to the 62nd floor.
Can I tell you guys, I spent a lot of time last night thinking about this next massive event we're going to throw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of work to do, but that is okay because when you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Which segues nicely to Gabe Davis, who has been an unbelievable receiver for the Bills, especially when you think about where his career started with them and where it ended up, becoming a very dependent upon receiver, very dependent upon offensive weapon at times for this Bills offense, maybe underutilized. And I think he pointed that out on his Instagram account recently. There was one post in particular I just dug up where he posted this. This is to his Instagram account on his Reels, 2020 to 2023. He was first in the NFL on first down rate. He was first in the NFL in touchdown rate. He was first in the NFL in average depth of target. He was first in the NFL in yards per reception. He had 33 total touchdowns and 336 yards, which is good for top 10 in the NFL. His target rate, though, was 15.6%, which is 47th in the NFL. So he puts all of those good things about when you throw me the football, good things happen. And then he puts down underneath, yeah, but you just didn't throw me the football.
Yeah, I mean, that's very telling, right? Well, now he has another post that was this just yesterday?
I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
It was the 20th. The 20th, he posted this. An 8-minute long video that was put together. That's a goodbye video. It's a thank you Buffalo Bills fans video.
Well, it's such a weird environment in Buffalo because nationally people were talking about how they got to get the balls to Stephon Diggs. They got to get it to Stephon Diggs, especially in the playoff game against the Chiefs. And I think that Josh Allen's at times this year was trying so hard to get the ball to Stephon Diggs and try to make sure his star wide receivers happy that Gabe Davis oftentimes did get neglected. Now, Gabe Davis also benefited greatly by Stephon Diggs being on the field, right? He doesn't draw the hardest coverage in every single game. He doesn't draw any double teams because Stephon Diggs is getting them. So Gabe Davis, those numbers could be skewed a little bit because he's oftentimes more open than Stephon Diggs. But I think he goes to a different team and maybe he's a little bit better off, but he's not a wide receiver one. Does anyone think he's a wide receiver one other than Gabe Davis?
Well, I think it depends on the team. But yeah, I mean, this is tough because having Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs on the field is a huge benefit for the Bills. And it's a huge benefit for both of those receivers, to be quite honest. Now, Stephon Diggs has been a little more vocal. He's been a little more upset publicly with his relationship with Josh Allen. And so I think that there is probably some thought of like, hey, we got to make sure we feed this guy because it's going to be a problem. And then now look, you've given so much attention to one guy. You have your other superstar who's now upset going, well, wait, what about me?
Yeah. Well, I perfectly stated. And going back to what you said, Fletch, yeah, I mean, there are 32 teams in the NFL. Just because he's a number 2 on the Buffalo Bills, because he's playing with a top 5 receiver, doesn't mean that he won't be somebody else's one. The same at quarterback. I mean, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. He was a starting quarterback and then got his team all the way to the NFC Championship game in his first year starting. I mean, Drew Lock at one point was a starting quarterback. There's 32 teams, so a wide receiver one or a starting quarterback to one team looks very different to the other, and he wants to be paid like a number 1 wide receiver, and I think he will be. Here's the thing, though. When you have a situation like that, and Stephon Diggs requires so much attention, and I don't just mean in terms of targets, but also just like to keep him happy because he's a highly paid athlete on the team. What does that teach the other guys who are having success? Oh, if I cause a problem,
right?
If I kick my feet, if I have a tantrum, if I leave in the offseason, remember that weird story to start the season where Stephon Diggs just disappeared during offseason training activities? And then Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, was like, yeah, he left and we're very concerned. And then the next day, I guess his agent spoke to the general manager, or maybe Sean contacted Stephon Diggs, or whatever happened unbeknownst to all of us. And he came back, he goes, yeah, it's cool. Everything's fine. But that's essentially what that culture taught Gabe Davis. Is the bigger stink you make, the better off you're going to be in terms of getting the attention of your franchise. And I guess they didn't pay him enough attention.
Now, what I'm curious is Gabe Davis on a different team, if he does slide into that number 1 role, those numbers probably decrease in my mind. I think he just benefited so greatly from having such a crowded offense because it wasn't just Stephon Diggs. It was also Dalton Kincaid, who had a fantastic year as a rookie tight end.
You're focusing on all those things, which are important. I'm not doubting that at all. but you're not focusing on who is throwing him the football. Like
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in this league. He could go and become the number 1 with the Commanders. He could, if they're interested in moving on McLaurin or whatever the situation is there with receiver, or I don't know who's receiver hungry right now, but name a team and you could be paired with the situation where you don't really have that kind of quarterback anymore.
Probably the one area of his game where Gabe Davis is elite and among the top wide receivers in the NFL is the deep ball. Well, he has the one quarterback in the league who's pretty much better than anyone not named Patrick Mahomes at throwing the ball deep.
So it's going to be interesting. The one thing I do want, so this was an 8-minute breakup video, basically. Okay. Has anybody ever gone back to their parents' house and you stumble across a box of letters you wrote in middle school
and you're like, oh God,
you're reading some of the nonsense you were saying to girls growing up and you're just like, why was I so emotional? What the hell is the matter with me?
You just unlocked a memory that is the most cringe memory I've ever had.
Let me hear it.
I got broken up with via voicemail in 7th grade.
Buddy, that I'm so sorry. Nobody should have to go through that. Wow.
Don't worry, I've seen pictures of her recently. I win.
Through voicemail? Wait, hold on. But that's the worst.
Hang on.
That's the worst thing that's happened to you?
And I mean no offense whatsoever. But I'm looking at you right now.
I know.
And you said I put pictures of her and you win.
Yeah.
What the hell
Wait,
happened?
I missed that part. Good Lord. You win.
Oh my God.
Well, also, I ended up marrying a total dime piece, so I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right.
I broke up with
you're a sick man, Chubbs.
broke up with a girl who then returned things that I gave her, set it on my front porch for 3 weeks.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
just like 2 items at a time. It was cool.
Dude, I remember I was the big because my parents were always working, so I was a big late bus guy. When school ended and you had to wait the extra 45 minutes for the after school stuff to end so you could catch a bus ride home instead of walking 2 miles. So I would wait for the late bus and there would be chicks. I'd be like, oh my God, this is your opportunity. You're like a regular Bill Shakespeare. If you just write, will you go out with me? Check yes or no. Probably you're going to have a girlfriend by the end of this bus ride. I saved those.
Every one of them?
Well, I guess.
So
because
check yes or no's?
at one point, I went back home and I discovered a box full of them. And I was like, why the hell did I keep these? And then I'm going through them like, oh, this is depressing. These are all no's. And some of them were like, no, ha, 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 ha.
Wow.
Ew,
Wow.
with a lot of W's. I'd be like, good. So I was creeping out women back then also.
You didn't have your gray hair yet. That's
Yeah.
a big part of your personality.
Yeah.
Now, something people don't know about Rich Ornberger is he actually has beautiful handwriting, kind of randomly.
Yeah, it's a very strange.
Doesn't make sense.
You look at me and you wouldn't assume it.
No, but did you also have beautiful handwriting as a 13-year-old?
Oh, I'm telling you, I was like a calligrapher. I would spend time. I would write these notes, and it was in beautiful, half regular, half cursive. I would do the correct line spacing. I would even write it on a little bit of an angle, so it was fancy.
Wow.
And guess what would happen? Every damn time it was check no.
Nice save.
Yeah.
Nice save.
God, I was all fired up.
How is that word?
No.
Getting back to Gabe Davis, buddy, you're gonna look back on this video. Just delete it now, because at some point somebody's gonna show this to you. You're gonna be like a 60-year-old man. You're gonna be like, shouldn't have made it 8 minutes. Should not have made it 8 minutes.
Now, the production value is pretty good. However, I didn't make it through the 8 minutes.
Oh, neither did
Yeah,
I.
I was 3 minutes in.
I clicked around. I must say. All right, coming up next, Travis Kelce. A lot has been said about the tight end already after the Super Bowl victory. Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Right.
We have another wrinkle to pass along. What does he and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have in common? You're about to find out. But first, TD. Man,
Talk to me.
You plus flannel equals checked yes. Wow.
And by the way, what does TD, Travis Kelce, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have in common? Unbelievably chiseled bodies. That's right.
It's like you finished my sentence. I was about to say unbelievably chiseled bodies. So crazy.
Which is all thanks to ST Fat Loss. So look, if you want an unbelievably chiseled body in 2 months' time, go to stfatloss.com. They'll show you how to lose weight the quick way and the healthy way. So you want to lose 20 to 30 pounds in 2 months, which sounds absurd. It can happen, and they can do it for you. They'll show you the right way to do it. And then here's the best part. You're going to keep that weight off. They'll show you how to do that because you don't want a yo-yo diet. You don't want to do one of these fad diets, one of these prescription medication diets where you're taking this appetite suppressant. As soon as you're done taking the appetite suppressant, all of a sudden you're eating again, and you're a big fat fatty, and you gain all that weight right back that you lost, and then some. You're not going to do that with sdfatloss.com. So if you're just thinking about trying one of these new fad diets, hold on, pump your brakes, go to SDFat. Don't do it. A cautionary tale here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Go talk to Wayne and Chloe, the coaches, the staff.
Talk to them.
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. Walk me through this thing, Wayne and Chloe, and they will. They'll walk you through it. They'll set you up on the correct weight loss plan. You're not going to exercise. You're not going to count points. You're not going to count calories, and you're going to end up with chiseled bodies, just like the three of us, thanks to sdfatloss.com.
The three of us plus Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Travis Kelce.
That is all true, and we cannot confirm or deny that they've used sdfatloss.com.
No. But if you look at them,
Yeah.
I think you understand what we're saying.
Schedule your free consultation today, sdfatloss.com.
Coming up next, Travis Kelce, The Rock. Let's see who else. Maybe O.J. Simpson. What do they have in common? We'll tell you next. Yeah. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with the San Diego Sports 760. Get a little upbeat jazz in our royalty-free music catalog this morning.
This sounds like it's late night with Big Rich, TD, and
That's
Fletch.
a good point.
Yeah.
Coming up on the show, it's me, Dan Pardo.
Comedian Kevin AC.
Yeah. And the late night band.
Woo!
Okay, so
So do you guys not like this music?
I love it.
Switch it up.
No, I love it.
Dude,
No.
You keep just flipping through the
Yeah.
catalog.
I love this.
I like being surprised every single segment with with the music selection. We have hundreds of thousands of songs that we're allowed to play on the radio now. All of them royalty free. All of them exceptional.
You're welcome in advance.
Yeah. So buckle up, bucko. All right. The Rock, O.J. Simpson. Okay. You think of those guys and you think, well, they have nothing in common. John Cena, throw him on the list. Okay. Tom Brady, LeBron James, throw them on the. What am I talking about? Rich, what are you talking about? Why did you lump a convicted, or I should say, an accused murderer with
right.
these other people?
A civil case convicted.
Whoa. Time out. Slow down, everybody. I'm just talking about athletes who transition to an acting career. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not saying Tom Brady is going to murder anybody. I'm not saying that about Travis Kelce either. All I'm saying is he all of a sudden is eyeing Hollywood.
Wow. Hey now.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, any particular shows that are trying to pick him up right now?
Well, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's more like, I think based on what's happened with him and Taylor Swift and his past dalliances with the, not the silver screen so much, but with television. I mean, he had what was it, Keeping Up with Kelsey?
Right.
That was his dating show from years ago. He obviously has the very popular podcast New Heights with his brother Jason. He's on camera the entire time.
Yeah.
This NFL career of his, he's on camera all the time. He's shooting commercials constantly.
He's very well liked. He's very good on camera. He can talk well. He looks great. I mean, he checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Total douchebag.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I mean, that's a matter of opinion. I mean,
Yeah, why are you hating on Travis Kelce?
What happened?
It's just jealousy. You guys know this.
What?
He's already got the action scenes down. He knows how to bump an elderly gentleman.
Wow.
And
Well,
overweight.
which, by the way, that audio may never be released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They apparently So one, NFL Films had him mic'd up for the game, so the mic caught it. But now, when NFL Films played it back, you could hear all the audio until that moment, and then NFL Films used, God, I was going to say Troy Aikman, not Troy Aikman, the other cowboy. Who was on the call?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. Tony Romo's call over the top of it. So they cut his voice out, so you couldn't hear him talking to Andy Reid. So now they're saying, well, they'll probably never release that. The Chiefs actually own the rights to it. So they'll probably never, ever let that get out of whatever was said.
I mean, what did he say? Put me in the effing game?
Basically, yeah. Lip readers are saying that's exactly what he said. Yeah, put me in the effing game. Get me the F in there.
Yeah. And frankly, I mean, it almost makes it better. Like, you know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, he's just talking about like the job at hand. All he wanted was the ball.
Yeah. Listen, if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce break up, I mean, I'm assuming it'll be used as song lyrics.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be a nice drop for a dubstep song. Put me in the effing game.
You remember when you bumped that walrus? All right, coming up next, we have our morning monologues. Also, a legend may be moving on. This is an interesting story. It's going to be developing all season long. We'll explain. But first, I want to talk to everybody about another living legend. That's Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. The guy is a miracle worker. Trust me. If you saw what my molars, which are the back teeth, the ones that you primarily use to chew your food, what they looked like before I met Dr. Jordan Colby, you would be saying he's a miracle worker too. It was a mess. I had broken teeth from my playing career. A lot of them got infected. I had to have one of them removed. I had to have 3 other implants put in from other extractions that happened. It was a disaster. And now I feel great. I mean, it's really strange what happens when you can confidently chew your food. Anybody who's ever been through this, where you're missing a tooth for a while, you're chewing on one side of your mouth, it sometimes gives you headaches. That's a weird thing that happened as a result of that. Sometimes it strengthens one side of your jaw, so your face looks uneven for a little while. It's a really strange existence. And then after you're done working with a guy like Dr. Jordan Colby, you say to yourself, why did I wait for so long? Well, what I was waiting for was to find somebody competent. I went to a couple different dentists. The most recent one said that this was going to take 1.5 years of my life to accomplish, having all this work done. And I was like, I don't have that kind of time. And I don't have that kind of time to recover from multiple surgeries. So I went to Dr. Jordan Colby on a recommendation, and he told me we could get this done in 3 months. He was like, why did they tell you it was going to take that long? And I explained to him, I was like, they were going to send me to a bunch of different offices. I was going to have my imaging done one place. I was going to have the actual surgery done another place. I was going to have to recheck in with my dentist, then go back to the oral surgeon. He was like, no. You come to my office. We do all of the imaging here. We do all of the surgery here. We do all of the post-op care here. And you're going to be back to work immediately. Not a single lie was told. I was back to work immediately, basically pain-free. He's incredible. So if you're just having your teeth cleaned, if you're just going in for a routine cavity filling, something like that, go to oceanviewdental.net. Book your first appointment today. Trust me, you will never book with another dentist again. That's oceanviewdental.net, oceanviewdental.net.
It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Indeed.com. Aztecs continue to struggle on the road. They dropped a game to Utah State, 68-63 in Logan. Utah State now has the inside track to a Mountain West regular season championship. There are 4 games left in the regular season. Saturday, Aztecs head up to Fresno State. They got the Bulldogs at 7. Yesterday, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers unanimously approving to set the 12-team field as the 5 highest-ranked conference champs and the 7 other highest-ranked teams. Padres news per Padres insider Kevin Acee. Yu Darvish going to make his first spring training start next week. Michael King going to throw a live BP instead of pitching in tomorrow's first spring training game. New year, new hiring needs. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Welcome to your Wednesday, and a happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you.
This is your mission, should you choose to accept it.
We're going to leave an unmarked envelope in a parking garage somewhere near your workplace. You're going to be carrying out a list of duties for the show. If you complete it by 3 p.m., you're in the wolf pack forever.
And it will self-destruct.
Yes, yeah. Also, you're going to have to choose whether or not we read you a quote from Lainey Wilson
Yeah.
or some other Wilson.
So we're going to play a game. Jesus. We're going to play a game called Words of Wilson for those Lainey Wilson tickets. That's coming up in just a little bit. So you're going to want to be listening for that opportunity. Also, we have those Shamrock tickets for the St. Patty's Day festivities downtown in the Gaslamp Quarter. That's fun every year. We got pairs of tickets coming up to that for about 3 weeks. So if you miss out on them today, keep the dialing fingers intact because you'll have other opportunities. Okay. Did you guys see really quick? I want before we get to morning monologues and some of the other stuff. So Gisele Bündchen, Tom Brady's ex, the former supermodel, she's now like fully in this relationship with this jujitsu instructor. And what sticks out to me is like, this was the family's, quote unquote, the family's jujitsu instructor during hers and Tom Brady's relationship.
That means this dude has probably had Tom Brady in a chokehold.
At some point, I guarantee. Yeah. Like,
Didn't think of that.
And also Giselle.
Jiu-jitsu exploded because of the popularity of the UFC, the Joe Rogan podcast. There's been a lot of reasons why all of a sudden you have jiu-jitsu gyms. I mean, they're popping up everywhere, all over the coasts. I mean, middle America is filled with them now. It's very strange that all of a sudden this Brazilian martial arts has swept through the country, but it is. And by the way, I have nothing against, any of the martial arts. I think it's great to teach your kids discipline, whatever. And it's great to do things as a family. But there's some messaging that's sent when you're this top of the world athlete and your family looks at you like, man, he's the man. And then you go into some guy's dojo and you get put in a rear naked choke and your eyes have the flash of fear of death in front of like your kids and your wife. It's probably not the best look. So all of a sudden Giselle's going like, I was with the GOAT and then he almost got choked out by this skinny Brazilian man. Like, maybe he's the GOAT.
I thought the jiu-jitsu instructor went to their house, like the pool guy.
No, yeah, that's probably how it went down. Yeah,
so it went down in Tom Brady's own dojo.
In his own dojo. He welcomed him into his own dojo. Dude, this stuff makes me so sad because this is how fragile relationships can be sometimes, where you get armbarred by the wrong little man. Well, and all of a sudden your wife goes, I want to break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know why we've never thought of this, but TD should get into like jujitsu.
Oh, there's no
why?
It would be impossible to choke you out with that net.
Holy God, you have a built-in defense mechanism.
Like if this was back in the old West days, they would never hang you because you couldn't be hanged.
They couldn't afford the rope. I mean, too much.
You're basically,
even if they got you up on the thing, it wouldn't work.
You're built like a snowman. It's just a head piled on top of a body.
I think the rope might just slide up. There's no delineation between chin and neck.
Jesus.
Well, I mean,
Jesus.
should we give that a shot too? Travis
tries.
Tries jujitsu.
Or I thought you were going to try to hang me.
No,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that we could do that too. He just slips through the news.
Well,
We're just
hold on,
hold on.
Hold on. Tuesday.
If pickleball couldn't get past legal, I don't know about hanging me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently pickleball wasn't allowed like weeks ago, and now everybody's doing pickleball.
And we can be open and honest about this, right? We had this idea on the air like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
We pitched it to the Sharks.
Right.
Yeah. We were going to do a pickleball tournament, and they went, absolutely not.
Now all of a sudden somebody else in this building wants to do a pickleball tournament and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Well, it's a great idea, actually. Why didn't we think of that sooner? You didn't have to because we did.
Apparently, it's going to be like I Heart San Diego wide.
Yeah.
Oh. I hope we get a finder's fee.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably 2.5%. I think.
Oh yeah. We'll get legal to write that up.
Right.
That'll be no problem. Yeah. So I don't know. I just saw this story and I was just thinking about it, like how this relationship between Giselle and this his name's hang on, it's Joaquim Valente. Which is another, like, you're going to have a guy named Joaquim Valente come to your house and choke you out in front of your wife and kids?
It sounds like a cuck.
I don't even. Whoa, I don't know if you can say that.
Maybe
I
not.
don't think you can say that.
Isn't that the right term, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the right
yeah.
term, but yeah, I don't think that's that's FCC approved.
Yeah.
Look, by the way,
A man who you used to cheat with.
wait, what's his name again?
His name's Joaquim Valente.
Yeah, I mean, why would you even, if you're Tom Brady, why would you okay that?
Never.
You don't even need to see him.
You know what? If your kids say, hey, Dad, do you know jiu-jitsu? You lie. You
Right.
say, yeah, I'm the best. Anyways, got to go to work and win Super Bowls like I've been.
Dude, I'm telling
printing
you.
money here.
Joaquin Valentes, no matter what, comes to your house oiled up.
Dude,
hairless.
Okay, so first of all, this hairless Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter comes into your house, chokes you out in front of your kids, and then things start going on the rocks, right?
And it steals your supermodel wife?
Yeah. So your supermodel wife is just hanging around. She's a little bummed because, the relationship isn't good. He goes, he's okay. Why don't we go horseback riding? And then some of the first pictures of them out publicly was on horseback together. I mean, if I'm Tom Brady, I'm like, this guy was on the payroll.
You carry so much tension in your neck. Let me relieve it.
Yeah. And then I will put you in a real naked choke. And this time I'm going to be actually naked.
I will mount my painted horse bareback.
You have pressure points here and here and here.
From top to bottom. Yes. Actually, this is a perfect segue into my morning monologue.
Rear naked jokes.
It's all about rear naked jokes. No, it's about family outings, right? It's about doing things as a family. So this weekend, I stayed at the Catamaran Resort. It was really fun. We stayed in a nice big room, and the kids loved it. And then we finished the weekend, and we had a blast. And I remember saying to Annie, I was like, yeah, we have all day President's Day off. I was like, what do we want to do? And she goes, what I want you to do is just get these kids out of the house. She's got a trip coming up, and I'm just like, oh yeah. Okay, I'll let me figure something out. So I go into the backyard, and I'm like, everything's wet because it was kind of drizzling. I know what I'll do. The sun came out. I'll take them fishing. So I pack up the fishing gear. We get the bucket. I figure we'll get some bait on the way. We take a walk down to the pier. And as we're walking, I am paying no mind to anything that's happening, right? I'm looking out at the water on occasion and, observing the waves and stuff, but really not paying any attention. We finally get to the pier in Pacific Beach. We walk all the way down, and I don't realize until I look up, the pier is closed. High surf advisory. Like, it's literally shaking back and forth. I'm like, okay, this was a disaster. I'm going to just give advice to any dad, any parent out there, anybody who is, struggling to find something to do with your kids. If you're ever told, take these kids out of the house, ice cream. I will forever now, just because that's where we ended up. That's where we ended up anyways. I was like, oh, Pier's closed, kid. Guess what? We walked past like 3 frozen yogurt shops. And you know what? We had a great time.
Exactly.
So no fish were caught, but we chased a lot of pigeons on the boardwalk. We ate some ice cream, and life is better with frozen yogurt, as it turns out, than yeah.
And you don't smell like fish.
yeah. I mean, the next time Ann says you got to get these kids out of the house, I'm like, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna do this, and as soon as I like buckle my seatbelt and be like, all right, kids, what ice cream parlor do you want to go to? No, it was great.
Right. That's good advice. Fletch, you or me? Where do you want to go?
How good is yours?
I don't know if it's good or not.
It's going to be great. He always does that when it's not going to be that good. You'll go last.
What?
50-50 balls in college basketball are a fickle son of a bee. You know what I mean?
Well, explain to me.
So 50-50 balls, like the ball comes off the rim. It looks like anybody could get the rebound, and the team that gets it generally is going to have a better night. So 50-50 balls last night ended up being the story of the night for San Diego State and Utah State. Also the story of the night with Creighton, UConn. And I think in both situations, the team that was working a little bit harder in those games ended up winning the game. Now, Aztecs, I'm not saying we're slouches last night. I'm not saying the effort wasn't there. I'm saying when opportunities arose for San Diego State to get the 50-50 balls and change the course of the game, those 50-50 balls became 70-30 in favor of Utah State. And you can really boil it all down to that. And I think with college basketball, especially because it's not like the NBA, you don't have these ridiculously skilled guys who can overcome some mistakes in games because they're just so talented at scoring the basketball. College basketball, every little thing matters. And every little thing was done correctly by Utah State. And you've got to give them the credit for that. San Diego State needs to take this as a learning experience as they head into the most important part of their schedule, as they head into the Mountain West tournament, the NCAA tournament, and understand that these games can come down to the littlest moments. And so when you get into these situations again, the little extra effort actually does change everything in college basketball.
Yeah, it's look, effort, it can be taught or reinforced, but when you have a team that plays with it, you have a special group. I remember, like, okay, so this sounds pales in comparison, but I played like youth league lacrosse. And the one thing that every single lacrosse coach will teach you is ground balls. Like anytime the ball's on the ground, scoop up that ball. You're going to win a lot of games if you lead in the ground ball count. It's rebounding. It's those second chance opportunities. In basketball, it's rebounding. If the team that's better at rebounding typically is the better team, because you're talking about possession.
And Utah State won that game last night on a sequence in the very end of the game that I think there was like 2:30 left on the clock. It was a 3-point game. Aztecs were in it, and Utah State won that game because they got 3 offensive rebounds on one possession and then tipped out to Darius Brown, who had the game of his life. He hits a 3-pointer that ended it. And San Diego State may have kissed away a chance at the regular season Mountain West Championship.
That's not fun. But yeah, you're right. I mean, possession, time of possession is everything in every sport. I mean, football, third down conversions and possession. I mean, that's rebounding in football.
And it's timely, right? Because San Diego State actually out-rebounded Utah State on the night, but in the last 3 minutes, it was all Utah State.
Yeah, things can swing that way. It was an unfortunate loss, but like you said, it's a quad 1 loss. San Diego State still has an opportunity to win the Mountain West in Vegas, even if they don't get lucky enough to win it during the regular season. And then March is its own animal. Like you can't, flip a coin. You don't even know who you're playing.
And I think what's different about this year as compared to years past is like San Diego State is in March Madness. Like we could say that pretty confidently at this point. Like it's very unlikely for them to get knocked out at this point. So like that's the era that this group has risen into.
That's crazy. Mine's kind of in the same vein. So yesterday when I got home, I got to witness something that I don't get to see very often. I mean, honestly, maybe once a year at my house. And it's something that I liken to, like maybe if you went up to Alaska and got to see the Northern Lights once, and it's takes your breath away, or you get to go to the Grand Canyon and you look out over this vast cavernous crack in the earth and go, my God, how does that even happen? Yesterday, I opened up a brand new thing of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a special moment.
Yeah. And we shop at Costco, so the peanut butter jars are large. So we don't go through them quickly.
Same vein.
Because
he's gonna get back to rebounding. You'll see.
A brand new jar of peanut butter, when you pull the top off, it is so perfectly smooth. I mean, all you want to do is just dive in it. And like I said, you don't get to see it very often. I am proclaiming the eighth wonder of the world, a freshly opened jar of peanut butter.
Can I tell you a tip that I saw on TikTok I've never tried?
Okay.
So apparently with peanut butter, you know how like you get all the scrapies on the side?
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to get it off.
Right.
Or like toward the bottom, like the knife, you got to stick the knife so far in and your hand gets peanut buttery.
Right. Yep.
Apparently, again, I've never done it. You invert it and then you spin like almost like a top. You spin the peanut butter on its lid, and all of a sudden, all of for centrifugal force, whatever, it gathers the peanut butter that's left in the jar to the top of the jar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's what that's what I've seen on TikTok.
How fast do you have to spin this thing?
So I haven't seen that part of it where it's like the stuff that's
Hang on,
left
let me
over on the side, because I'm pretty sure that's
find the video.
impossible to actually get off unless you have like a spatula. But the one I've seen is if you get to the point where it's no longer that freshly opened jar of peanut butter, which is incredible, and
Yeah,
you
right.
just love sticking your finger in it to get a little.
God,
Yeah,
so
it's the
perfect.
best.
So perfect.
But when you get like halfway down and it's super uneven, you know,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
do that spinny thing with it upside down,
Hold on. We're watching this happen right
then
now.
it makes it all even once again.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, it's
oh,
put right on its side.
On its side.
Okay.
Sorry, on its side.
Okay. So she does the spinny there. This is holding a jar of Jif. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Well, it would put the peanut butter on the top and the bottom.
Well, yeah. So that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So centrifugal force obviously gonna push everything close to the top of the mouth. But like if you have a big jar like you have,
yeah.
like I mean your hand halfway down, your hand might get
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're getting peanut butter on it. That's happening.
Spin that sucker on its
I
side.
feel like I want to just give it a shot to see what
Look at
happens.
this. Oh, this one, it's almost like all the way down to the bottom. Look at that. He
Wow.
spun it.
Oh, wow. That one. Wait, hold on. Why is there a hole in it like that?
See, that's on the lid.
Wow.
He spun it 7 to 10 times.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, we're going to have to give it a shot. We'll
Yeah.
have to give it a shot.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
anyways, yeah, you know what? And you're right.
What?
There's no more special moment in anybody's life than that. I also love the sound the seal makes when you're opening up a jar, a fresh jar.
So
of peanut
good.
butter.
And you
Just-
get the whiff of brand new peanut butter.
All right, listen.
Golly.
Coming up next, we're gonna jump in with one of our favorite human beings on the planet. Okay, I know that's an unrequited feeling that we have for him. It's not returned. But Kevin Acee, Padres insider, San Diego Sports 760, beat writer, covering the Padres for the Union Tribune. He's coming on next. But before we do that, TD, he drove up to work in style today.
I do every day, Rich. I do every day in my GMC truck. And, you know, it's
Really
funny because
do.
I was thinking, like, wow, what better smell could there be than a brand new jar of peanut butter? A new car smell.
Yeah.
I mean, new car smells
Or
hard
new
to
truck
beat.
smell.
Or new truck smell.
That's
you
right.
know, and you can get yourself
like
a new truck.
sensible Acadia.
Yeah. 1000% correct, but you can pick up at North County Cadillac GMC. So look, if you're even just considering buying a new vehicle, stop by, see my friend Jamie, the GM over there at North County Cadillac GMC. They have President's Day savings that are being offered all month long on new and pre-owned models. So don't just take it from me. I'm not the only one saying this thing. There are review after review after review getting put online here about North County Cadillac GMC. How about this one? Omar, Yasmin, and Jay all put in an excellent effort to overcome some insurance on my end. They went out of their way to solve a problem that wasn't even theirs. I will use them in the future as I will recommend them to others. That's from Dave. And look, you're talking about insurance problems. We just had some flooding going down. I was over at North County Cadillac GMC last Friday, checking out the inventory, talking with Jamie, seeing what we're setting up here for the weekend. And I mean, there are some incredible deals, but they were talking to me about some of the problems that people had with their cars flooding with all this extra rain. And they had some insurance issues of people getting a check in time. They are there to help you. They know how to navigate through this thing. So if you're looking for a new car because unfortunately you got one flooded out, they can hook you up over at North County Cadillac GMC. Good customer service. Mr. Grant was patient and showed us how to use our new car. Happy customer. I mean, it's story after story like this. Look, there's a reason why North County Cadillac GMC was voted San Diego's best domestic auto dealer in the San Diego Union Tribune Readers Poll. Experience the difference yourself. Stop on by North County Cadillac GMC in the heart of the Escondido Auto Mall today. North County Cadillac GMC, exceeding your expectations every time. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. Well, four, actually, because he is our best friend. Kevin Acee joins the show next.
This update is presented by Indeed.com. We will start here with the Aztecs, whose road struggles continue. They dropped a game to Utah State last night, 68-63 in Logan. Utah State now has the inside track to a Mountain West regular season championship. Yesterday, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers unanimously approving to set the 12-team field as the 5 highest-ranked conference champs and the 7 other highest-ranked teams. Padres news, per our Padres insider Kevin Acee. Well, we'll just let him tell you because he's coming up next. New year, new hiring needs. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Big Rich, CD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Coming up here in just a little bit. Words of Wilson, a game that we've definitely flushed out in its entirety, and it's going to go super smooth. So you can win yourself a pair of tickets to go see Lainey Wilson at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 23rd. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep listening for your shot to win those. We also have some Shamrock tickets. The Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival is coming up on March 16th, so you want to keep listening for those as well.
Coming up, also, we're going to be talking about how a legend may be moving on. There's some reports about a dynasty getting broken up and a very interesting conversation about quarterbacks. We're going to definitely get to that as well. But before we do any of that, we need to get a check-in Peoria.
That's right.
We're running out of time to get a check-in in Peoria because all of a sudden we're on this truncated timeline leading you up to the start of the Padres season in Seoul, South Korea.
Wow.
And that is going to be the site where Kevin Acee will be with the team here very shortly. Kevin Acee joining this show this morning, Padres insider, San Diego Sports 760, also the UT beat writer, covers the Pods. So Kevin, good morning. Welcome to the show. Are you ready for the trip to Korea? Have you started making any preparations yet?
No, but I will say that honestly, 5 minutes ago, someone pointed out to me that 3 weeks from today, I'll be on a plane like right now. And it kind of just hit me like, this is the shortest spring training. Like, I mean, now every spring training for the last 5 years has been weird, but like, this is just such a quick ramp up. And it just sort of hit me like, wow, that's right. 3 weeks from now on a plane. I leave in the morning. The Padres will leave after they play on Thursday or Wednesday the 13th. And be in Korea for, what is it, 8 days? I don't know. With the whole 16-hour time difference, I don't even know what to say. Like, is it 8 days? Is it 9? You're traveling forward in time, back in time. It's going to be crazy.
So we actually read some of the quotes this morning. AJ Preller talking to members of the media yesterday. I'm sure you had time to hear from him. He talked about how they're going to be having this open competition with some of the young players on the team. You talked about how free agent acquisitions could be coming in the future, but that door is definitely not closed, but they're going to explore some internal options first. Like he was evasive with his use of language. You can't stick anything to him like he typically is. But something did stick out, and it's exactly what you just pointed out, Kevin. It's the fact that we're short on time here, and there's a lot to be figured out before the start of this season. Do they have enough time to figure it out before the start of the season?
Yes, because they have to, right? It's like when he was talking about, like, I think one of the questions to him was something about, like, how many additions will you make? Well, it's not about a number. We'll see. But his point then was, like, we're going to field 9. We have to. So they're going to be ready for March 20th in Korea because they have to. Yes, it's quick. Look, spring training's too long sometimes. Maybe this will be just perfect because I will tell you that it's a highly efficient camp. Obviously, everybody, Korea wasn't sprung on them. So, people came in ready for the most part. Obviously, the staff came in knowing, hey, this is what we have to do. They're forced to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more efficient. But it is. I mean, look, there's 2 open spots in the outfield. Ostensibly, there's 2 open spots in the rotation. There is a lot to do, but I do get the sense that, yes, they will be ready. No doubt it's going to be weird. You go halfway across the world, you play 2 games, you come back, you got this busy weekend, the celebration of life for Peter Seidler, Fan Fest, 2 exhibitions against the Mariners, day off, start the season. It is going to be a strange and strenuous start to the season.
Hey, Kevin, Joe Musgrove joined Darren Smith yesterday, and he brought up the fact that he admits there was some discord in the front office, in the locker room, in the dugout last year, which you spoke of. I mean, and then he said this year, everything seems better. We fixed those problems. You're out there on the grounds, man, boots on the ground. Do you feel like things have changed?
All right, 2 things. Joe Musgrove can be believed. He is one of the finest men that I've ever covered in all facets. He means what he says. But then I also want to say, well, of course he's going to say that. And then, and I guess I can't count because here's the third thing. I think he's right. Like, I don't know about all fixed, but I'm telling you, they're working on it. They worked on it in the offseason, and they're working on it now. They're focused on, one for all and all for one, and what, happens and is said in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse, and the purpose behind that being, again, all for one. And this, I will tell you that I do feel, and I know it sounds sort of trite or whatever, and some of it comes with having a new manager and a largely new staff, but I do feel a more focused camp, a more energetic camp. I think some of that has to do with, hey, we got to get going here. Got, basically a month, five or 6 fewer exhibition games than you would normally have. So it all plays into it. And certainly last year and being embarrassed about that and owning some of that, I think that has to do with it, Jim.
Kevin, when you look at other things AJ was talking about yesterday, he talked a lot about competitions and different position battles that are going on during spring training. So when you look at the rotation for this year, I mean, I think 2 confirmed guys, Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish, are the 2 who've done it at the big league level for a long, long time. Now, Michael King looks like he's going to be a starter this season, but those other 2 spots, are they just wide open? Are those going to be potentially still free agent acquisitions? What's happening with the starting rotation?
I think they like their pitching. So if there's a free agent acquisition, if there's a trade, I think at this point that it's probably something in the outfield. What they would love is that Randy Vasquez and Johnny Brito step up. Because that would be just fantastic, wouldn't it? I mean, you just filled like 3/5. You basically replaced the guys you lost, at least, and warm bodies. You replaced the guys you lost in one trade. Those are the guys that are penciled in. King is in 10. He's the number 3 starter. But then Vasquez and Brito, who they also got in the Juan Soto trade, are penciled in. But I'm telling you, watch Jairo Iriarte. I think he's like the number 7 prospect. This kid is wicked. And he's just looked fantastic. People have been talking about him before camp, during camp, and he's looked really good. So look forward to seeing Jairo Iriarte pitch in camp or in Cactus League games. I think you do have to give a shot to Pedro Avila, Matt Waldron, even Drew Thorpe. And Thorpe and Iriarte have only pitched at AA. But look, the game's changing, and teams are more willing to, especially an arm, a live arm, a guy who's ready, who has major league stuff, and both those guys have like really good changeups that, as long as their fastball is good, they can make it here. They can give this team 5 innings if they're ready. That they'll be okay going with one of those guys. And right now, my money's on Iriarte, but I'm pretty excited actually. Last year it was like, at this point, it's like, okay, how many days till opening day? Because the roster's already set. Let's just get this over with. Now, like spring training games and what happens, it matters. It matters as far to the players. It matters as far as the evaluations and who is going to be on this team.
So I think you started to say it, but I don't think you finished your thought. But when you look at if there is a free agent,
that's weird for me.
I know it's okay. But if there is going to be a free agent acquisition or a trade coming here before the season actually begins, if it's not in the starting rotation, where is it?
I think it's in the outfield. If there is one, they do look there. There's no doubt they have a lot of questions with the pitching staff, but they also have a lot of depth and a lot of quality young arms. So I think they feel good there in this way. What's out there in their price range, at this point, they don't think it's better than what they have. So why go out and spend $4 or $5 million when you think you have a guy here who's going to make $770,000, who's just as good and has will be a part of the team for longer. So that's where I think their thinking is right now on the pitching. If there is an addition, it's that someone who's available. And look, there's not a lot to choose from out there. It was just a weak offensive market after the high-priced guys, which are out of the Padres realm right now. It's just a weak market out there. But if they don't like what they see here in the coming week, let's say, from what they're getting from their offense, the guys vying for, the guys vying for the 2 outfield spots, plus who's going to be your DH, I believe that's when they go out, trade, free agency, and they pull the trigger on something to add a bat.
Kevin Acee, Padres insider, SD Sports 760, covers the Padres for the San Diego Union Tribune as well. Let me ask you this question, because we're best friends. We go out, we have drinks. I mean, this show and you, we've become pretty close over the years. Yeah. I'd argue.
I mean, like we've said I love you to each other
plenty of times.
Kevin Acee, big time hugger.
Yeah,
big time hugger.
Yeah. Handsy.
And which we didn't mind. Look, the point is, when I look at Mike Schilt, and it's an election year, and I'm not saying he's running for office, but we're going to hear this phrase a lot. He just seems like a guy I want to have a beer with. Like everything I've heard from him, he's quick-witted. He's great with you guys in the media scrum. Tell me the difference, though. Baumel, Mike Schilt. Like I'm not asking you to say who's better, but like what's the difference here? What are we going to get with Mike Schilt that we didn't get with Bob Melvin?
Well, you said have a beer with. I think like Bob Melvin, you had a glass of wine or maybe a old fashioned you sat down with. With Mike Schilt, you have a cup of hot cocoa. Talk about your feelings. He is a guy who's very intentional about getting to know people, and that I believe is something that worked in St. Louis. And I believe that, at least at the start, that's the thing that players have bought into and realized that, okay, hey, this guy was very successful. And we've heard from some of our, friends around the league that this guy was a good manager, and we saw the results. And man, this guy really cares about us. So I think they bought into Mike Schilt. The difference, I honestly believe, like, Mike Schilt was here for 2 years. He kind of saw some things that, like, maybe the Padres didn't maybe take advantage of some certain things with, like, the rule changes last year, maybe running, maybe some things in extra innings where it was like maybe Bob Melvin was more like, just like kind of the rest of us, by the way. I'm not ripping Bob here. Like, in extra innings, like, hey, the top of my order is coming up, and these guys make $1 billion, and I think we're gonna get a single. We got a guy on second base, so I'm not gonna try to move the runner over or whatever. And again and again, and suddenly they were 0-12 in extra innings. I don't think that. I think that Mike Schilt might be more prone to do some different things, try to win on the margin certain ways. And that's not. I'm not putting Bob down. I'm saying, like, last year was a weird year, but I don't think that Mike Schilt is going to wait around on some of that stuff because, look, his teams in St. Louis, he went to the playoffs all 3 years. Go look at those teams and their rankings on offense. And it was pretty decent pitching, but look at their rankings on defense. Look at their base running. He's a pretty aggressive guy. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait for this season. I really, because like you said, last year the expectations were high, but we all sort of felt like we knew what we had. You know what I mean? And it panned out way differently. Now it's the exact opposite. We have no idea what we're gonna have, and there's a little more excitement. Hey, Kev, we appreciate it, man. We'll do it again real soon. And are you more of a hot cocoa guy or like an old fashioned guy? You brought that up earlier.
Well, don't read into this about which manager that, don't read into that.
Okay.
But I think you guys know, if you were paying attention, I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy.
Yeah. He's sophisticated.
We were.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. We always pay attention.
There's a chance we have breaking news here.
Wait, what?
Wait. Is it Nerf night in North Phoenix on Saturday?
Yeah, we saw that over here on this side of the glass.
Well, it sounds like Eric Hosmer is retiring.
Interesting.
And I wonder, does that save the Padres money?
No, they still owe him that money.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Kevin still there? I mean, Kev, you still with us?
I am. I'm sort of in shock here. I honestly don't know what the situation is here. We're talking about Eric Hosmer announcing his retirement.
Well, it looks
is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, on his latest Instagram post, he updated his bio now that says former MLB athlete, and then he put up some post about a podcast he's going to be joining or a media company he's going to be joining now that his playing days are over.
Yeah, Forbes also released a statement officially retired from MLB.
Interesting. Now I've got to check that out. It is highly doubtful that anything that would jeopardize the $13 million that he's going to get for the Padres each of the next 2 seasons has been done. So we're going to have to check that out. But it's highly doubtful that Eric Hosmer's letting the Padres off the hook for $26 million.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I what's weird about this is if he does retire, just flat out says I don't want to play anymore, I think it does take the money off the books, but
they still have to pay it, but it doesn't count against them. I don't know. I'd be speaking out of turn.
I'm going to have to check into that and see what the story is on that.
Okay. All right, Kevin. Yeah, well, we just gave you homework. We'll be checking in with you in about 15 minutes. All right. Catch you later, buddy. There he goes. Kevin AC, San Diego Union Tribune. How about that? So check this out. I mean, this is a Google search, and this is their generative AI. But it says from an article it's sourced, in general, teams are not obligated to pay the remaining salary of a player who retires in the middle of the contract. However, the type of contract and any agreement between the player and the team can determine whether a retired player will continue to be paid. So there could be language written in this contract that precludes him from losing out on salary.
And let's not forget who Eric Hosmer's agent is, Scott Boras, who does not like saying bye to money.
Yeah, so this could be...
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, there could be a guarantee payment after retirement. You know, it's possible.
Man, I was thinking, man, if there's another $13 million that the Padres now have just lucked into, maybe they'd be able to go do something with it, but who knows? Probably just save that too.
Probably not.
When you wish upon a star.
Well, we did wish upon a star, and it worked for the three of us. I think all three of us sat by our bedpost at night, looked out the window, looked up in the beautiful San Diego night, and said, I want to be skinny.
Makes no difference who you are.
And the twinkly little light that came down and landed itself right on our window pane was Wayne and Chloe from SDFatLoss.com, and they tapped us on the head with their magic wand and said, you will be skinny.
Wish upon a star.
And it took us 2 months. And
Anything your heart desires.
in those 2
damn
months, we each lost over 30 pounds.
We
And you
did.
could do the exact same thing. So if you're looking at your calendar right now and you're thinking, if I'm going to be showing up to Petco Park this year, I want to be looking good for all the honeys. Well, you can do that. So in about 2 months, we all lost 30 plus pounds. No, I'm doing the live read.
No, where did you come from?
A
what?
star.
If you want to be looking dank for the honeys,
Is that what I said?
you need to go to SDFatLoss.com.
SDFatLoss.com has broken the weight loss code, gone to the starvation diet plans, do
Yeah,
away
this
with
is
the latest
dope.
fads and their long list of side effects. SDFatLoss.com is healthy weight loss using real whole foods and proprietary strategies to help your body become you once again. 2 months, that's all it takes. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com today for a free consultation.
Yep. You'll
Now-
make bank, bro.
Come on.
What?
And you can lose all those unwanted pounds.
That's right. Yeah. And that's dank.
We're out of time.
All right. Goodbye. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego
Will
Sports
Eric Hosmer be
760.
an all-star this season?
He won't, and it's because he might be retiring this season.
I think it's official. He's retired.
Yeah, I mean, he's changed his Twitter bio. Forbes released an article. Did he retweet it? I think he did.
Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if he retweeted. I don't see it.
I saw Padres Twitter exploding about Haas's latest Instagram post, and then I went to his Instagram. He changed his Instagram bio to former MLB player, and then in his latest post, it's him talking about a new media company that he's joining.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, God, weird that Forbes puts it out.
Yeah, although
Maury Brown, was he the one who put it out?
it could be Maury. Yeah,
Because Maury is tied in with
friend of the show. We like Maury, man. He's a good dude.
I love that guy.
So check this out. Actually, no, I want to save this for the other side because I want to stretch our legs on it. Also, do we want to bring back any of that Kevin AC sound? Those first two questions, it doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be right now. But basically, he answered two questions that were really specifically interesting. Is necessity the mother of invention? Meaning like the fact that the Padres need to be ready by the time the season starts, like, is that going to be enough of a reason for the Padres to be ready for the start of the season? And then also he commented on Joe Musgrove speaking out about the discord last year and, kind of like, all right, problem solved. Everything's fixed. So he gave his thoughts on that as well, what he's seen at spring training. So we'll play that sound. We'll replay that sound, I should say, for people who missed the Kevin AC interview at 7:30. Also, if you haven't gotten the free iHeartRadio app yet, download that sucker right now.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome way to keep up with the show. You can subscribe, like our podcast. If you review it, give us 5 stars. Like, if you're going to give it 4 stars, like, just beat it. We don't want, you know what I mean?
This is not an 80% show.
No. Like, if you're going to review it at all, like, we don't need this to be honest either. Like, you know what? Do us a favor, say the most ridiculous stuff you could think of, but then give us 5 stars. In fact, this is what I want our listeners to do. If you okay, how about this? If you like the show, even if you don't, give us 5 stars, but then write the craziest things afterwards.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to pertain to this show.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it could be a recipe.
it could be a commentary on Russian hierarchy during the Tsar years. Like, I don't really care. But give us 5 stars on the free iHeartRadio app after you download it.
But also keep listening here because we got Lainey Wilson tickets we're going to be giving away. So we're going to ask you to play a little game with us. Words of Wilson.
We are idiots.
Yeah.
We have no
What's
idea.
New?
We're going to welcome on one of our listeners, and you're going to play that along with us.
Flesh chomping at the bit.
Okay. And I understand why.
We're already
because
late.
I'm chomping at the bit, too, in the dentist's office. That's right. I went to Ocean View Dental, got my teeth fixed. Sat down with Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. So Dr. Colby is awesome. He's the exact type of dentist you want your family to have. Super great with kids. He's got a big family. They're wonderful people at the office too. Speaking of family, like the whole office feels like a family environment. You walk in, they know you by name. They know exactly where you're heading. It's a very warm place. I don't think of it as like setting a dental appointment anymore. I feel like I'm visiting my dentist. And that's the best feeling in the world when you know you have to go to a place that a lot of people unfortunately dread. Dentist office have been kind of those places where it's like, oh yeah, here we go. Twice a year, it's bad news. Or you get the teeth cleaning and it hurts. No, not there. They're gentle. They're kind. Everything is done professionally. Everything is family oriented. And like I said, Dr. Jordan Colby has become my family's dentist after I had a bunch of dental work done at his office. Everything was done in the same office. All the advanced technology, everything you need is right there. It's a one-stop shop. I had something done with 3 implants put in that I was told was going to take 1.5 years. It ended up only taking 3 months with a visit to Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. So whether you have a problem, big or small, or if you just have your next teeth cleaning come up and you don't like your dentist, get in touch with Dr. Jordan Colby over at oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net.
It's hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by eBay Motors. Aztecs continuing to struggle on the road. They drop a game to Utah State, 68-63 in Logan. Utah State now has the inside track to a Mountain West regular season championship. They got 4 games left to go in the regular season. Next up for San Diego State, another road trip up to Fresno State. They got the Bulldogs on Saturday at 7. Yesterday, College Football Playoff Board of Managers unanimously approving to set the 12-team field as the 5 highest-ranked conference champs and the 7 other highest-ranked teams. eBay Motors here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on San Diego Sports 760.
I think I'm done complaining about the MLB, NBA, and Pro Bowl weekend. I'm done complaining about those. I think those leagues either need to make a serious effort to hit their domestic audience, or they just need to go away with them completely. And maybe have a weekend where everyone just comes and hangs out together. Just make it a convention for NBA players and media to attend. Sling Old Spice all over the country. I think I'm done.
Ruffles is what they were pushing over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Watching
They
these-
have bridges. I don't know if you guys know this.
Watching these forced games where nobody really cares. Well, if you don't care, why do I care? So I'm done complaining about it. I'm done caring about it.
Now, here are the guys.
Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Happy Hump Day to you all. It's Big
Mike,
Rich,
Mike.
TD, and Fletch with you. San Diego Sports 760. So, if you've been listening to the show, we've had an interesting path we've walked. We got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We talked
And
about
sex.
Hollywood.
You don't want to hire a jujitsu instructor to come to your house.
No,
Ever.
dude. Okay, if you're a dude and you have a wife who at one point, it doesn't matter if it's right now, but at one point was attracted to you because you were like a real man.
Right.
The last thing you need to do is invite a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor who's going to be in amazing shape to your house and have him choke you out in front of your wife and your kids.
Right.
Because
Name Joaquin
Valente.
Valente. Yeah. It's,
Sounds sexy.
I mean, that's like your wife, like, hey, I hired a new pool guy. Oh, who is it? His name is Antonio.
His name's
No,
Antonio.
cancel him.
Yeah, his name's Antonio, and he's a former bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And it looks like he smuggled a half pack of Pringles in the board shorts.
When we were having that conversation about Brady and Giselle, I couldn't help but thinking that Giselle married Tom Brady when he was less good looking Tom Brady. And then she
Right.
divorced him when he was like the handsomest he's ever been.
She's kind of handed him off to the world better than she found him. It's
For
kind of
sure.
like when you go to the beach and you pick up litter. You know?
You leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, exactly.
remember Tom-
Campsites.
Tom Brady used to have that fat face.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, when you drink avocado smoothies, that you too can look like Tom Brady.
There's never been a moment in time, ever, where I look better than Tom Brady. So as you're like, you remember when he had that fat, ugly face, a gigantic head?
Yeah, he was a handsome guy. He's kind of always like
He was weird looking. His draft photo, Tom Brady is weird looking.
Well, we'll go back and we'll review it.
Wait,
I
hold
don't
on.
remember.
Is he not weird looking now?
Well,
But he's
I
like
guess
got
it's
that
a matter of opinion.
Right.
rugged, handsome. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he might be a robot.
We have Words of Wilson coming up. I
Mhm.
do not want to be distracted by all this. Words of
That's right.
Wilson.
That's right.
So this is what we're gonna do. In about 3 minutes, we're gonna have callers call in at 877-767-4760. That's 877-SORG 760. SORG is spelled SORG
course.
760.
Of course it is.
So if you call that number in 3 minutes, we're gonna put you on the line for Lainey Wilson tickets. We'll explain the game show in a second. Yes, it's dumb. We can't wait to play it with you.
No,
No,
seems fine.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Oh God. So
Before we play, though, Kevin Acey jumped on the show, our best friend, Padres insider here on San Diego Sports 760, and he answered a question. So AJ Preller spoke to the media yesterday, and he was answering a lot of questions about payroll and decisions to be made, and whether or not this team's going to be ready for the season. Is necessity the mother of invention for this Padres team? Here's Kevin Acey.
Yes, because they have to, right? It's like when he was talking about, like, I think one of the questions to him was something about, like, how many additions will you make? Well, it's not about a number. We'll see. But his point then was, like, we're going to field 9. You know, we have to. So they're going to be ready for March 20th in Korea because they have to. Yes, it's quick. Look, spring training's too long sometimes. Maybe this will be just perfect because I will tell you that it's a highly efficient camp. Obviously, everybody, Korea wasn't sprung on them. So, people came in ready for the most part. Obviously, the staff came in knowing, hey, this is what we have to do. They're forced to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more efficient. But it is. I mean, look, there's 2 open spots in the outfield. Ostensibly, there's 2 open spots in the rotation. There is a lot to do, but I do get the sense that, yes, they will be ready. No doubt it's going to be weird. You go halfway across the world, you play 2 games, you come back, you got this busy weekend, the celebration of life for Peter Seidler, Fan Fest, 2 exhibitions against the Mariners, day off, start the season. It is going to be a strange and strenuous start to the season.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's strained. They're on a short deadline. They're relying right now on minor leaguers to progress enough that they feel comfortable with them being in a position to help this team's. Everything's compressed. It is such a different feeling going into the season than it is from last year.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about it. Almost indifferent. There's almost a bit of I guess I'll wait and see kind of a feeling. You're trying to be hopeful, but at the same time, you're going, I just don't know how you do it with the pieces you have because it just doesn't seem like there's enough.
Yeah. Well, there aren't. The truth is, right now there aren't, and so you're having open competition to figure out if there are.
Yeah, well, because they're going to find one somehow, and that's what Kevin Acey's saying. Somehow, some way, they got to put 9 people out there on the field, and it will happen.
The most important thing, I think we all agree with this, is the fact that the culture was the biggest issue last year. They had major issues in that clubhouse, major issues in that front office between AJ Preller and Bob Melvin specifically. But it was beyond that because we heard sourced reports from everywhere saying that the culture at the top of this organization was so toxic that it had an influence on everything. So Joe Musgrove was on with Darren Smith yesterday right here on San Diego Sports 760, and he spoke about the complete reversal from last season. We asked Kevin Acey if he's noticed those same changes at spring training. Again, here's Kevin Acey.
2 things. Joe Musgrove can be believed. He is one of the finest men that I've ever covered in all facets. He means what he says. But then I also want to say, well, of course he's going to say that. And then, and I guess I can't count because here's the third thing. I think he's right. Like, I don't know about all fixed, but I'm telling you, they're working on it. They worked on it in the offseason, and they're working on it now. They're focused on, one for all and all for one, and what, happens and is said in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse, and the purpose behind that being, again, all for one. And this, I will tell you that I do feel, and I know it sounds sort of trite or whatever, and some of it comes with having a new manager and a largely new staff, but I do feel a more focused camp, a more energetic camp. I think some of that has to do with, hey, we got to get going here. Got, basically a month, five or six fewer exhibition games than you would normally have. So it all plays into it. And certainly last year and being embarrassed about that and owning some of that, I think that has to do with it too.
I mean, is there a little bit of Kevin Acey has to say that? Is there a little bit leaning on that? I mean, I feel like there might be. I trust Kevin Acey. I trust Joe Musgrove. I agree with him. I think these are both stand-up individuals. And I think there's also a little bit of the same feeling that I just said I'm having of, I guess, let's wait and see. And you got to feel like, okay, guys, we got to figure out how to turn this around. There has to be that. It's a fresh start. It's a brand new season. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So there's some cheerleading. There's some rallying going on. So there probably is feeling a little different right now than it was the end of last season, no matter what.
I think that there's a lot that goes into this spring training, and I know that every team across baseball had to deal with it last year, but the fact of the matter, like, there were a lot of Padres not at spring training last year for a large portion of it. So how could it not be discombobulated? Like, in this year, everyone is there. And if what Kevin said in that answer, which I think is the most important part of what he said, was it's okay to be embarrassed by what happened last year. If that is the rallying cry in the clubhouse right now of we cannot let what happened last year happen once again, then there should be a common goal that everyone's pushing to, and it's not to look like an ass again this year. That's what they looked like last year. A
Yeah.
bunch of asses.
There's no question about it. Halftime coming up in just a moment here.
And speaking of asses.
Yeah. And it's TD's turn.
oh, I thought we were talking Lady Wilson. Well, let's start off here in college hoops with the Aztecs. They had an amazing second half, but in the end, they fall to Utah State 68-63. Aztecs now 20-7 on the season. Utah State improves to 22-5 and takes sole possession of the first place spot in the Mountain West. Up next for the Aztecs, they're going to head to Fresno State to take on the Bulldogs. That's happening Saturday night, 7 p.m. tip. In baseball, Padres just weeks away now from heading out to Korea, South Korea. I mean, we're talking 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Darvish set to make the mound or take the mound for the first time in spring training next week. In the WWE, which sports, right?
Yeah. Adjacent.
Okay, because some would say adjacent. Tiffany Stratton. You guys know who this is?
Oh, yes.
Tiffany Stratton suffered a wardrobe malfunction during her match against Zelina Vega on SmackDown. She did a flip off the ropes, a backflip, which was amazing in itself. But as she landed on the ground, Tiffany's top, it popped right off.
Okay.
Whoops. It was on live television. SmackDown had to cut to a black screen for a little bit while she fixed her top in front of the live crowd. And this is the second time this has happened to Tiffany.
It's on purpose.
Yeah, you think? In the NBA,
I am currently playing with my Google.
Well, and everyone knows that the perfect attire for wrestling is lingerie.
By the way, that's Tiffany Stratton.
Good Lord!
Hang on,
listen. By the way, when she wrestles, maybe she could just use like straps. You know, instead of just the
wait. So, come again? What was that?
No. I mean like on the top.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am praying that this is the video you're talking about.
No, she was in pink.
Okay. Hang on.
Yeah.
There was another one. Was another
this
one.
This is posted on her own Instagram?
No, this is just on Twitter. Where?
Oh, okay.
Twitter,
that looks like it right there.
This one? Okay.
Yeah,
hang on. Everybody relax.
Oh, well, maybe.
Hang on. Oh, this could be it.
No, that was just, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
anyways, we'll let you know when we find it.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have a push notification for Words of Wilson.
Yes, we do. Yeah, so we need a contestant. We need a caller right now. 877-SORG-760. 877-SORG-760 if you want to go see Lainey Wilson and play Words of Wilson.
So you're going to win a pair of tickets to see country music star Lainey Wilson at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 23rd. Tickets and info available at livenation.com. Here's the way you're going to play this game. So we've compiled a bunch of quotes from Lainey Wilson country music songs.
Right.
And other famous Wilsons.
Right. So then we just read you the quote and you tell us, is that Lainey Wilson or not?
Yeah,
that's it.
This is the easiest game. The
only game that could be easier than this is must ask you a question.
Yeah, which, by the way, we're bringing back.
Yeah, it's got to come back.
The fans have asked, and we will answer, and the answer will be a resounding yes. Yes, must ask you a question. We'll be back.
Right.
Again, 877-767-4760. Even if you're not a Lainey Wilson fan, it would be an awful nice present to bring somebody out to see her at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. So dial in right now, and those tickets could be yours if you just win. Words of Wilson.
God, I can't wait.
So the phone lines are lighting up as we speak.
Which we didn't like that contestant,
and then they all just
that contestant didn't talk.
Oh,
we are having phone issues.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, give us a ring here. What happened? How come they all went away?
Yeah, we're having phone issues. Damn it! Damn it!
Call my cell phone.
No. Here's what we'll do. This is what we'll do. We'll play red pill, blue pill. We do have to fix the phones because there's no other way to play Words of Wilson without people calling in.
Play together.
All right. So we'll just play this game between you and I while Fletch fixes the phone. And thanks, Fletch. We appreciate it, buddy. Red pill, blue pill. This is a very special edition because we started compiling some of these during the show. And so they're very much so like tied into what we've been talking about all day long.
Right.
How about this one? The Padres start their season on the road.
Okay.
If you had to choose only one you could eat for the rest of your life,
Okay.
red pill, Korean barbecue,
Mhm.
blue pill, Dodger dogs.
Dodger dogs aren't that good. But wait, are we talking just a Dodger dog? I can still have a hot dog?
No, well, so let's put it this way. You can never have Korean barbecue ever again if you choose Dodger dog. You can never have a Dodger dog again if you choose Korean barbecue.
Dodger dogs suck. Korean barbecue is awesome. This isn't even a question.
I don't know. I mean, do I get to? Is it just the way I get it? Like from?
Do you like
from
Dodger
Dodgers?
dogs?
I don't mind a hot dog. I'm telling you.
Hot dogs are
I'm
fine.
telling
Dodger
you.
dogs suck.
I will say this. They do suck, but also they don't because hot dogs can't suck.
Yeah.
These hot dogs suck.
But they're kind of cool at the game.
How often are you going to Chavez Ravine? I go to Korean barbecue like 5 times a year.
Dude, Korean bar. Okay, so
yeah.
let me backtrack. Yes. So for me, it's red pill, Korean barbecue. There's no question. But I will say this, like, it's a little overblown what people say about that because it's just a hot dog. I think the problem is you call it a Dodger dog and then it just sort of tastes worse as a result
That's
of
true.
that.
That's true.
Because your
That's
brain
true.
plays tricks on it.
I would go Korean barbecue on this. You can't just cut it out.
Yeah. So
Not happening.
red pill.
There we go.
So check this out. It's Words of Wilson. And we have our contestant. His name is Joe.
Mhm.
We finally got the phone lines fixed up. Joe, welcome to Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Are you ready to play the game show that really everybody's talking about, Joe?
I guess.
Okay.
I missed mustache game, Mark.
Yeah,
Okay.
I too like that, what you just said,
I
and
didn't-
understood
I-
every word.
I looked right at Rich and thought, did you decipher that?
So, Joe,
It's good.
the rules are very simple. We're going to read to you a quote. It's either going to be a Lainey Wilson song lyric or it's going to be a quote from a different famous Wilson. Are you ready to play, brother?
Yeah, let's do it.
What did we determine how many Joe has to get right to win the
We
tickets?
did
Oh,
not.
shoot. 3. Okay, Fletch says 3. You have to get 3 correct here, Joe. And we'll start you off like this. Well, I know a few things a man ought to know. Is that Lainey Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
You're on the board. You got 1.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read the next one to
Okay.
you, Joe.
That's our mustache.
I'm so excited
God,
to play that again. We're playing that this week.
But it's got to happen Friday.
All right, yeah. All right, check this out, Joe. Here's your next Words of Wilson question. If a dog will not come to you after having looked you in the face, you should go home and examine your conscience. Is that Lainey Wilson or a different famous Wilson?
Different famous Wilson.
Wow, Joe. We got 2 for 2. Man, I don't know where to go here on this one.
I mean, you got to give him a tricky one.
Jeez. Do we have tricky?
I like the very last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
hit
right.
him with it.
I feel like this one's not that tricky.
Should we?
Okay, there we go. Joe, you ever done anything dangerous? Jeez, that is dangerous. I've done something like that too. I won't tell anybody. Was that, or was that not, Lainey Wilson?
Yes.
Correct.
Ooh, incorrect,
Yeah.
Mundo. Joe, that was Russell Wilson, a.k.a. Danger Russ.
Dude,
Ah,
schlepping the danger witch.
Yeah. He is currently a Denver Broncos quarterback. Not for long. Could be a little spicy this offseason. All right, Joe, right now you have 2 correct answers to 1 incorrect answer.
Mhm.
You only need 1 more correct answer, and we didn't even determine how many questions we're going to ask
It's got
you.
thousands.
So all you need is 1 correct answer out of the next infinity questions, and you will win the Lainey Wilson tickets. Okay, here we go. Joe, and I say, I get the width from my mama and the depth from my daddy. Joe, was that a Lainey Wilson lyric? Or was that another famous Wilson quote?
Famous Wilson quote.
Ooh, incorrect. That is Lady Wilson. Lady Wilson, I think talking about her house. Woo! Good Lord.
I had so much fun finding these
Good
because all these
Lord.
quotes came with pictures.
Oh,
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Right now, Joe's 2 for 2.
Yeah, two and two.
He's 2 and 2. He's 2 and 2. Okay, here we
I
go.
would say, Joe, you got to get this one right.
Yeah.
You got to get this one right if you want
Otherwise,
to
we
win.
go back to the broken phones.
That's right. It's gonna happen. Here we go. Joe, I can hook a trailer on a 2-inch hitch. Was that Lainey Wilson or just another famous Wilson?
Lady Wilson.
I think we have a winner.
I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. I was counting you out, especially after your second incorrect answer. But this is one of the most marvelous comebacks we've seen since Super Bowl 58. Congratulations, Joe. How do you feel about the big win today?
The phone was cutting in and out, guys. So
That's good. That's good. Well, we're going to put you on hold, but congrats, man. You just won yourself a pair of tickets to see Lainey Wilson at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 23rd. Everybody else is going to livenation.com if they want tickets or info, or they're going to listen again tomorrow because we have another idiotic game to play.
This one's called Whisper Down the Laney. I don't even know what we're doing with our lives. What has happened to us?
God.
I mean,
it's working so well.
Things started off so good. Like, Travis was like this really high-profile electrician.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a union man. Me, I was a professional football player. And now we're reading song lyrics. Son of a... Anyways.
It seems fine.
It's going to be fun. Everything's going to work out for us.
Mm-hmm.
I can promise you that. Also, everything's going to work out for Joe. So if you want to win a pair of tickets to see Lainey Wilson, okay, she's going to be at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This coming up in August. You're going to want to listen tomorrow. We're going to play another, as Travis put it perfectly, idiotic game show for your opportunity to win. Also, we still have Shamrock tickets to give away today. We got a pair coming up in just a few.
We got to finish up Red Pill, Blue Pill.
We do.
Then we got some maybe inside scoop on Russell Wilson's future in Denver.
It's a strange one. We'll explain. But before, I want to explain to everybody why all of a sudden, okay, when I was showering yesterday, okay, hang on.
In the nude.
Okay.
That's right. Water dripping off of Rich's
all of the crevasses.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and I'm not even kidding. There was this moment where I'm like, wow, that's in full view now.
Well, you could spot it.
I could spot it. It was like whale watching. I'm like, oh my God, I saw a fin. And I was like, wait a second. This isn't normal. This is how it used to be.
Yeah. Wait, is that Chloe?
Is she on SD Fat Loss also? SDFatLoss.com is the reason why I saw a tail fin yesterday. Actually. Well,
Lord.
The point is
more like a dorsal fin.
Yeah, no question. Yeah. Pectoral fin, maybe. Look, the point is, I don't know fish, but I do know this. With SDFatLoss.com, you can lose up to 30 pounds, actually more than 30 pounds within the first month. Fletch lost 35 plus. I was down 32, 33 pounds within the first 30 days. That's averaging over a pound a day. TD was down 25 plus. I think you lost to what, 28? It was like neck and neck for a while.
Yeah.
We're like, who's going to lose more? It was crazy, man. So within the first 30 days of doing SD Fat Loss, we lost close to 100 pounds. It's just absurd when you think of it in those terms. SDFatLoss.com. It's not a gimmick. It's a lifestyle change. It's changed our lives. That is no joke. And like I said, things look different in the shower. There are parts poking out. I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't know anatomy, but I do know this. There's less of me to look at. And I think that's a good thing because there was way too much before. SDFatLoss.com. If you two have started your year off with, a bright positivity, maybe you wanted to lose some of those unwanted pounds and you haven't gotten around to it, or maybe you started a fad diet, maybe you took some prescription drug that made all these promises and you lost some weight, but you gained it all back, yo-yo dieting. Everybody's guilty of this. It happens to anybody who's struggled with their weight in the past. Don't fall victim to this. Go to SDFatLoss.com. It's a free consultation. They'll explain to you the whole program, and you can be just like us. You can lose all of that weight that we just lost. And then we want to hear about it. And we want you to reach out to us and let us know how it's going for you. That's SDFatLoss.com, SDFatLoss.com.
This update is presented by Discover. We will begin here with the Aztecs, who took another road loss last night, 68-63 against Utah State in Logan. Utah State now is the inside track to a Mountain West regular season championship. There's 4 games left in the season. Aztecs heading to Fresno State this weekend. They got the Bulldogs on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Yesterday, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers unanimously approving to set the 12-team field as follows. It'll be the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and then 7 other highest-ranked teams. Padres news from Kevin Acee. Yu Darvish going to make his first spring training start next week. Michael King going to throw a live BP instead of pitching in tomorrow's first spring training game, which they'll play the Dodgers tomorrow, actually. Padres baseball. If you like using debit over credit, shouldn't you also get rewarded? Well, now you can with Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cash back on everyday purchases with no fees, period. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank member FDIC.
Yeah, man. Rolling through a Wednesday. Flying by the way. A hump day. Getting you over the hump, though, with some Laney Wilson tickets we just gave away. Congratulations to Joe, who won those. We also have a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. That's coming up March 16th. For tickets and info there, go to SanDiegoShamrock.com or just keep listening this segment if you'd like to win them.
That's right. Shamrock tickets, a lot of fun. Fletch went last year, had a blast. And speaking of blast, we're going to blast this out over the next 3 weeks. So if you want to win tickets and you're disappointed today, you don't get your hands on them, we will have other opportunities. Also, we have an opportunity here to finish up Red Pill, Blue Pill. We only got to one of our questions. And this is a spirited round, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's clean this up. Let's go red pill. Oh, I like this one. Red pill, blue pill.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you rather see in a movie? Red pill, Travis Kelce. Blue pill, Russell Wilson.
I don't like either of these options, to be quite honest. Like, are we talking, are they the lead role? Is it a cameo?
Let's say as a leading man.
Okay.
So.
And I have to watch the movie.
You have to watch from start to finish. Russell Wilson, who, by the way, is dating Sierra, very famous.
Married.
Oh, that's right. He's married. Yeah, and they have kids. Sierra, for a long time now. And then you have Travis Kelce, who's dating Taylor Swift. Both of them have sights on more than just a football career. So what are we thinking? Who would you rather see in a film?
So I'm starting to, who would do a better job? Travis Kelce. What would make for a more entertaining film? Russell Wilson.
You think?
Because I like just dumpster fires of movies can sometimes be good. Travis Kelce is going to be good enough to where it's not a great movie, but it's like he's trying really hard. Russell Wilson's going to try really hard, and it's still going to suck.
So I feel like with Travis Kelce, though, it's gonna be like a B movie. Like, I'm gonna rate this thing on a scale of 1 to 10. It's gonna be about a 5, but I think it's less cringe factor with Travis Kelce. So
it doesn't with Russ.
Russ Wilson has way more cringe factor, but it's the same quality of movie to me. I'm going red pill. I'm taking Travis Kelce.
Russ has enough. Taking red pill also.
Okay, Russ has enough cringe to supersede the. It's trying to be good.
It's going to wrap around and come.
It's so bad it's good.
Bingo. Like that movie, The Room. Have you guys seen it?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst movie of all time, but it's a cult classic.
We should do a viewing party.
It's made millions and millions of dollars after the fact because of how bad it is. People watch it on an annual basis in movie theaters.
Okay. All right.
Well,
we got to move on to this one.
Okay.
Guys, it's 3:45.
Okay.
You just walked home from school.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? You dumped out half your lunch. Okay. The brown paper bag was a little soggy. So you lost an apple.
Mom, again?
You stepped on your Twinkie as it fell out.
It's horrible.
Okay, so
terrible day.
You've had a rough day, but the key's under the mat. You unlock the front door.
Mm-hmm.
You run to the freezer. Yes. The freezer has your favorite snack. Red pill, Hot Pockets.
Okay.
Blue pill, Bagel Bites. Ooh, which one are you popping in the toster oven?
You only
Which
get
one's
one.
going in the microwave? You only get one, and you only get one for the rest of your days as a kid coming home from school. Hot Pockets, Bagel Bites.
Here's the thing. I feel like Hot Pockets are a little more mobile. Like, if I want to make the Hot Pocket, I can almost put it in my shirt pocket and hop on a bike.
I think I've actually done that before.
The Bagel Bites, I think, are tastier. Golly. I'm going Red Pill Hot Pocket.
Wow.
I'm going Hot Pocket.
That's strong.
Yeah.
Okay, TD, very controversial. Red Pill, Hot Pocket. Fletch, Red Pill, Blue Pill.
Blue Pill, and I'll explain why. I'm going pizza rolls because
Bagel Bites.
Bagel Bites.
Bagel bites. Because you
Pizza
can.
rolls are delicious,
Pizza
too.
rolls are. I mean, is there a green pill?
Isn't that Totino?
Tortino's
Oh,
pizza
yeah.
roll? Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of the wrong thing then. I'm
Bagel
going
Bite-
Hot Pocket all day.
Oh, really?
So a pizza roll though is like a little tiny.
It's like a mini Hot Pocket,
yeah, and
which
you
is the reason why we can't compare the two,
Yeah.
because they're basically the same
So
thing. with a
if
different
next level
shell.
fat guy stuff would have extended, but thank God it stopped. Thank you, Wayne and Chloe. I would have made you guys pizza roll nachos.
You wait, what?
Wait, hold on. Whoa,
we can do that.
wait,
80-20
20%.
with 20%.
We can do that at some point. But
Okay.
Like
pizza rolls are
tomorrow.
awesome. But I'll go Hot Pocket on this one because actually kind of a cute story, Adorbs. Right after our wedding, me and Kendall were
Yeah.
so exhausted when we got back to the hotel.
Mhm.
It wasn't like this fantastical, like, oh, let's get it all hot and heavy. No, we sat in bed, looked at pictures, and ate Hot
The
Pockets.
thing
Well,
I almost
well.
just said.
By the way,
I want to apologize for Kendall, even though I didn't say it. Jesus, what's the matter with
can
you?
you microwave a bagel bite? By the way, because
Sure, you could.
Hot Pocket has the sleeve.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
microwave pizza bites before.
I've done it before. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. You
All
gotta
right.
eat them fast, otherwise you get this weird crust.
Now, either way, you are burning the
It's fine.
ever-living dog out of your mouth.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
any of these three
Hot
options.
Pockets get lava hot.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. My answer is Bagel Bites. It's a little bit more simple, right? So Bagel Bites, there is a perfect way to cook it. You throw it on a sheet pan, you put it in the oven or in a toaster oven, and they come out perfect
Mhm.
if you time it correctly. Hot Pockets, I've never, not
No.
once in the history of my life,
Nope.
ever nailed it.
That's true.
They're
Yeah.
either-
Cold on the edge.
I mean, every single bite, like it's solid, it's frozen solid in the middle, but somehow it's still blistering the top of my mouth.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
It could be frozen solid outside, and the inside is molten lava.
It doesn't make any sense. I've never done it right, so I'm going to go with Bagel Bites. Okay, we move on. So check this one out. I don't even. This has to be Travis. TD put this on the list.
What?
Red Pill, lab grown beef. Blue Pill, lab grown chicken. What would you prefer to dine on?
Death.
What happened to you as a kid?
I was just thinking. So, bottom of the barrel, there's some lab grown items that are now being perfected by scientists to treat infertility.
We gotta go.
Okay,
We've
so
run out
I'm
of
going
time.
chicken
So
on this
that-
one because we had the cauliflower chicken from Dave's Hot, and it was actually fantastic.
It was
but
good.
that's not lab grown.
I know, but I'm thinking it might be a little easier. It's like with beef, you get the texture, you get the fattiness. I don't know that you can replicate that.
See, I am so opposite on this. Lab grown beef, I think, is where I'd go all day.
Mm.
A lab grown chicken sounds so awful to me.
Although, I mean, I'm positive I probably had both and enjoyed both at one point in my life. Like, there's no way in my mind that some of the fast food restaurants that I've been to haven't genetically modified the ingredients enough.
That's a good point.
You know, I say both.
Is there just a lab grown pill?
Yeah. Holy
Wow.
God. All right.
That's
well,
where we're heading, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just instead of eating food, you're just going to take a pill every day that takes care of your caloric intake.
Well, maybe that's Jetson stuff.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Jetsons. It was just printed.
oh, and they put like water on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it bursts into like a full meal.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, I can't wait for
that's
those
red pill,
future
blue
days.
pill. How do we do this?
I don't know. Russell Wilson. Okay, so have we determined he's not going to be a Bronco next year? I mean, that's the consensus, right?
Well, so
When's the date? There's some date where part of his contract for next year goes into effect.
I don't know the answer to that, but I think there is a roster bonus. I think it's in March. So here's the deal. They already missed like the failed physical roster bonus. Remember, that's the reason why they
March 17th, he will be guaranteed
There it is.
$22 million from the Denver Broncos.
St. Patrick's Day.
So wow.
Uh-huh.
So that's the day that the new league year begins. So that means you're officially on the roster for 2024. Like, so the league year, it's weird. That's just the way it works. So with Russ, they're going to have to make a move. Now, Sean Payton recently spoke and he said, well, we're not 100% sure. Like, that's basically where he left it. And it kind of feels like they may be playing poker. they want to trade him, but they haven't had a good enough trade request yet. So they're trying to like up the ante a little bit, but they know at the end of the day, they're trading him. So it could just be smokescreen, but we'll see.
If March 17th is the day they need to make the decision by, the combine is February 29th. So could they be waiting to see if they really like any of these quarterbacks that would fall to them at 12 before they make a decision on Russ?
I think, the combine's okay. It's tied to it but for different reasons than you think. The combine isn't that important in terms of like evaluating the players you want.
But that's when you get to talk to them.
That's
right?
that's when you get to talk to other general managers. So he's going to, whoever, it's going to be him. It's going to be George Patton is the general manager in Denver. They're going to be talking to a lot of people about Russ, trying to sling him somewhere else. And if they can trade him for draft picks and stuff like that, that's the place to do it. Get them all liquored up at St. Elmo's Steakhouse in downtown Indianapolis. Actually, I don't even know. Is the combine in a different city this year?
I think it's in Indy still.
Is it in
That's
Indy
the one
this
they're
year?
talking about moving around, but they haven't made the decision yet. The draft is now moving all over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Chad Ochocinco is saying he's got some inside information that says Russell Wilson is going to be leading the Steelers next season. Does that seem right?
They need a quarterback.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
linked.
But Justin Fields was the talk.
And Ryan Tannehill was the talk for the Steelers for a little bit. And Kenny Pickett, they're still committed to, they say.
And what about Kirk Cousins?
He's still out there.
Right.
He could be the Broncos' next quarterback.
What about
Sweet.
Aaron Rodgers?
What?
No.
There are so many options.
Well, he's going back with the Jets, but who knows? Maybe he's discontented and he wants out of New York. We'll see. We got to do it, guys. I mean, we've waited long enough.
We've let the people wait long enough.
877-767-4760. Or if you want to spell it out on your touch-tone phone, 877-SORG-760. Call that number right now. We're sending you to Shamrock. Pair of tickets. You and a friend, a buddy, a pal, a wife, a spouse, a mistress, or a mister. What is the male version of a mistress?
I don't know. Matt, no.
That is
No,
not.
can't say that.
What you just
Can't say that.
Whatever you just whispered is not. We're not allowed to say that one.
So I put in online here here's a number generator to create a word out of your phone number.
Yeah.
Sorg 760 is our best bet.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go 877 Popism 0.
I kind of like that a lot.
877 Popism 0. If you want to win those Shamrock tickets, coming up next, bottom of the barrel, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Big Rich TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Gave away some Shamrock tickets. We'll have more of those tomorrow and the next couple days and the next couple weeks. Who was our winner there, Fletch?
Tan everywhere.
Congrats, Jan everywhere. That's right. Congratulations, Tan. Going to the Shamrock Festival, March 16th.
That's going to be fun.
Good times, man.
Going to be good
times.
times.
I think it's the 16th.
Did I say 17th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's St.
Patty's Day. It is the 16th. I knew that. I just said it incorrectly. Shocker.
We do this.
Joe Musgrave's about to have a hell of a year.
Listen, Joe Musgrave, he puts his opponents in the dirt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How do you like that? He can use that if he wants.
All right. So the lab-grown conversation we were having on Red Pill, Blue Pill. Okay,
I just read the headline.
So this is the first time.
This is science.
So this is the first time I'm looking at the headline of this article.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read the article.
What does TD do with his day?
Like,
Because the bottom of the barrel is always populated.
Lab-grown testicles could revolutionize infertility treatments. TD, take it away.
And like most of the time, we don't even get to these stories, but they're always there.
They're always there.
Well, stuff we need to know, I guess. How about this first line? Scientists have successfully grown working testicles in a dish that could help solve male infertility. Basically, they've grown male testicles that they can now run experiments on to see why some don't work, and then they can fix those.
I was poo-pooing this at first, but I'll take some robo-testes.
What?
Actually, that doesn't. Like, can you imagine if I'm a cybernetic organism? I've got robot balls. That's not completely uncool.
Like, would they look like normal balls, or would they look like RoboCop? Like, would they have like a steel frame around them?
I would hope they would be steel.
That's what I would want too, except for like walking or sleeping.
I'm gonna read another headline.
Okay.
Starbucks now sells pork flavored coffee, and some are saying it's surprisingly delicious.
Okay, does your reaction change if it's bacon flavored coffee?
Okay,
because that's where my head went, and I'm down.
Starbucks fans look forward to their iconic seasonal menus, typically full of sweet new drink options to coincide with the time of year. But this year, the coffee chain introduced a savory drink offering an untraditional flavor to celebrate the Lunar New Year: braised pork flavored latte. Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Shanghai announced the limited edition beverage on its verified Weibo. What the hell is a Weibo microblog account?
Travis tries Tuesday.
Yeah, no
pork flavored coffee.
Oh God, this honestly sounds horrible to me. This is like Fear Factor Joe Rogan stuff.
I will say this, like, so it's braised pork shoulder or whatever it is in Shanghai. Okay. Imagine though, so we have tried like a fat washed bacon bourbon.
Oh, that's true.
And that
is
was
true.
Awesome.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, like, Fletch, it's not what he just said. I mean, it's not a bridge too far to imagine.
Oh, God.
Little bacon, little coffee.
Can you imagine sipping on your cup of coffee though, and it smells like pulled pork? Good God.
I see nothing wrong with this conversation.
Wait, then how come it isn't Fletch Tries?
I'll do it because I'd like it.
Fletch Tries Fridays.
The best part about Travis Tries
Friday.
Tuesdays is like you hate it and your reactions are really funny.
Yeah,
coming up
not
tomorrow.
That fun for me.
We have Whisper Down the Laney for Lainey Wilson concert tickets. Okay, if you liked our game show today, you are
so
going
well
to love tomorro's game show.
Actually, for launching a game show, that did go pretty well.
Yeah. Well, because it was a lot like a game show we've done in the past.
Yeah. And we'll continue reinventing that wheel. Is it still circular? You're damn right it is.
Thank you, Kevin AC. Kevin AC was awesome today. That'll be up on the free iHeartRadio app shortly, as well as the rest of this awesome TV radio show. What do we do? Thank you, Rich. Thank you, TD. Thank you, Roadies, Dogs, Hangers, Bangers. Love y'all.
Love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. The Herd is next. San Diego Sports 760.